Okay.
Yeah.
Stand up, New York Giant fans. Baddog. I mean, as crazy as it may sound, I know a lot of Giants fans are down in the dumps right now. We'll see with Daniel Jones limited. Bradbury, we know he's not going to play, but biggest game of the year against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday Night Football this week.
It's our season, man. It's our season. And, it is crazy. It just sucks that Washington had to win that game. Like you said, I know that the Arizona game took a lot out of it. It was a gut punch, man. We didn't come out. We were flat. They dominated the whole game. And it's unfortunate. I think some fans got to realize, that no matter what happens, we've improved this year. But we just had a 4-game winning streak. Don't let one loss, and it was a bad loss, and it could have been the end of our season, but don't let one loss, take away the 4-game winning streak. That was a lot of fun. I mean, we were hyped up, we were ready to go. And hey, Washington could lose this week. You never know. Listen, this is why they play the games, man.
I'm gonna tell you what. I think Washington is gonna lose this week because Haskins is starting. So we'll see. But I'm not gonna get cocky or anything like that. Washington's played really well the last 3 or 4 weeks. We'll see how they do against Seattle. But yeah, I mean, like you said, in the moment, you're really upset because it's the first time in forever that the New York Giants have played relevant football in December and actually had an opportunity. We were leading in the division when the day started and actually had an opportunity to close out the season and have a playoff berth, and we still have that opportunity. Obviously, we're going to need some things to bounce our way now. But yeah, you also have to, I think at the end of the year, we all have to breathe. We all have to look back and we have to realize what this season was about. It was about a stepping stone going into 2021, and there's a lot of things to be optimistic about. Obviously, the most important player, the quarterback, didn't progress as much as we would have liked this year. There's no doubt about that. But
regressed.
Yeah, but there's areas that, I mean, the coach has been huge. I mean, I think all of us are in love with Joe Judge. I think the defense obviously looks the best it's looked since 2016, and the offensive line, even though it looked horrible this past week, and I don't think it got near enough scrutiny from the fan base. The offensive line, we gave up 8 sacks. It was horrible. Overall, though, has been much improved over the second half of the season. So I think there's reasons for optimism going into next year, but there's still some things that need to be improved on, and we'll reevaluate at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. There's still a lot of pieces we need, and the offensive line played really poorly. It played really well. I think part of that was the fact that we didn't run the ball. I mean, to me, the Giants, the pass blocking got better when you got a little chemistry going on with the offensive line, and nothing's better to get them going than run blocking. We never ran against Arizona. It's not like we couldn't run. I mean, we averaged 5 yards a carry. Goldman only had 10 carries, but he averaged 4.8 yards a carry. I mean, it's not like they couldn't run. I don't know why they got away from it. It was very strange. But they're really bad against the stunt. They've been bad against those defensive stunts all year. Somehow they got to figure that out. I saw a little article or something that when defensive stunt against the Giants, they allow 57% pressure, which is only second worst Jets. This is something we saw it against Pittsburgh. I mean, when Pittsburgh did it, we were getting murdered.
Yeah,
but it hasn't gotten much better.
I was not aware of that stat. That's a crazy stat. But I mean, Andrew Thomas specifically, the first 3 or 4 weeks of the year was getting killed on stunts. This past game, I remember Zeitler got killed on a stunt up the middle. He fell on his ass. But yeah, the New York Giants offensive line is much better in the run blocking department, but the pass blocking is still a major question mark. We've given up 41 sacks this year. That's really bad, obviously. I think we're bottom 3 or 4 in the league. That's got to get much better going into next year. Maybe some of that falls on the quarterback. Maybe some of it falls on the wide receivers not being able to create separation, and some of those maybe are coverage sacks. But overall, the offensive line still needs a lot of improvement, but it's a young group that is improving over the course of the year, and we hope that it takes a major step forward in 2021.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that stat, who knows? I mean, how much of that was the first 4 games when we really didn't know what was going on? You saw the offensive line definitely got better in the last couple of months outside of the game against Arizona. They did when Joe Judge just came right out and said we weren't prepared for that. They didn't. We didn't prepare for the 4-4-3, which is bad. At least he can admit it and knows he's got to do better. But that's not good when you're not prepared for defense. And it showed. I mean, they had nothing. There was nothing they could do, and that was the worst time for that to happen since their quarterback wasn't really healthy 100%. And I also didn't like Joe. The more I thought about that, when he first said it, I'm like, hey, it was kind of weird. But the more I thought about it after, when he just says, we just wanted to make sure he could protect himself, I'm like, well, I don't like that. I mean, you should know that Daniel Jones can go out and run, be 100%. Every single play in that playbook's available to him. And if it wasn't, there was no reason to play him. I mean, just let him get healthy. Let that hamstring rest another. Because we're playing with house money. I mean, nobody expected us to go into Seattle and win that game. If somebody would have said you're going to play Seattle and Arizona, you're going to go 1-1, I'm sure we would have thought Arizona was the game we were going to win. So you're playing with house money. You won with Colt McCoy. I don't think there was any reason to hurry Daniel Jones back in that game.
Yeah, I listen. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna kill Joe Judge. By the way, let's say hello to a couple of people in the chat. What's going on, Pedro? What's going on, Afghanistan? Georgia fan, Odell, Late Nona, Lone Maniac. Thank you for being here. Jay Moda in the house. I know Dire Giants fan. I saw in here. Lou Ruda. Thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you guys for your consistent support on the channel. But I speaking about Joe Judge, I'm not gonna kill him for starting Daniel Jones. Because I get it. You feel like your quarterback's healthy enough to play. And obviously Judge made the evaluation that he felt that Daniel Jones gave the New York Giants the best opportunity to win this football game from the start. But when you started to see Jones limp back to the huddle, when you started to see him lose his mobility more in the second half, and we even saw, the funny thing is, and we didn't talk about this so much. I didn't talk about it in my video so much. You even saw Colt McCoy on the sideline. I think it was at the beginning of the second half before Jones had the touchdown drive, warming up on the sideline. So you could see that Joe Judge was thinking about potentially making a move, and they didn't do it. That's when I thought that Joe Judge was at fault for not making the move. I'm not going to kill him for starting Jones, but not for not making the move in the second half where you really started to see Daniel Jones limited.
Yeah, that's a good point, because when you and I were doing the game, I think we thought he was coming in to start the second half. I mean, the fact that the Giants offense did nothing in that first half, and Jones obviously was not 100%. I think both of us saw him warming up, set up. Here comes Colt McCoy, and Daniel Jones went back out there. Obviously, you heard his name. That's the thing that kind of ticked me off, is that Joe Judge said we just have to make sure he can protect himself, and he couldn't protect himself. He got hurt. Now, it does not help. It does not help when when you're getting sacked 8 times. You got nothing to do. Even if he was mobile, he would have got beat up in that game. But Yvonne, man, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. What up, fellas? Let's get this win. Let's go. I might have said this when I had Cop on my channel. I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't, right? I do the video about Daniel Jones. Now, a lot of people agree with me. I mean, most of them agree. But, you're going to get, you're so negative, bad guy. You're so negative. That's critical, blah, blah. Okay. And then I do the video about how we can beat Cleveland. You're delusional, man. We can't beat Cleveland. What can I do? What can I do?
I got to come at Yvonne a little bit, because both of our streaks snapped. He always brags about when I give him a wrench the Giants hadn't lost since. Well, I might have to take your wrench away, Yvonne. We might have to get back to basics this week. The hoodie's coming back on, though. I still believe in my team. I'll have that on Sunday, Yvonne. But I'm just kidding with you, man. Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy.
Yo, Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Brilliant. Stand up and Stella. Not Stella tonight. It's actually Brown's Cherry Raz. I've been drinking the oatmeal stout, but I saw this the other day. Plus, I know my wife will drink that.
Oatmeal stout's good.
Oatmeal stout is amazing, man. I freaking love that. But listen, she's been working hard too. I'm like, you know what? Man, you need something to drink too. This is all good. He says, love you guys as always. You're the best. 2 Giants content creators. Wish the booger eater Pizzle should learn from you. Giants stink. Pizzle's the man. Johnny, you love Pizzle. You love him.
He definitely loves Pizzle. He definitely loves Pizzle. And Seti says you need to turn the hoodie into a rally hoodie and wear it inside out. Seti, you know what? If that's what it takes, that's what we'll do. You know what? I'm going to do it. Sunday night, we'll wear it inside out. We're going to do whatever we got to do to try to get this W.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to – you know what I'm going to do? I'm eating cinnamon rolls. It's a playoff. Try cinnamon rolls for breakfast. I have to try it. I haven't had cinnamon rolls for breakfast in 4 years. Well, that's a lie, but I mean before a Giants game. Richard, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, brother. Great Cowboys fan right there. Cheers, sir. Thank you so much. Says, hello, guys. Are they playing Colt this week?
Looks like it.
It is going to be, I would imagine.
It hasn't been definitive yet. There's been some reports I read that kind of hinted that Jones is still a possibility, but everything I've read from several reporters of the New York Giants is Jones is practiced, but in a limited capacity. So I'd be surprised. Maybe they bring him in for a certain package or two, but I doubt it. I mean, if he can't play, if he can't start the game, you don't play him. You sit him out, you rest him for next week. I expect to see Colt McCoy.
Listen, there's no reason to get him seriously hurt. There just isn't. I don't want to see Daniel Jones tear his hamstring. I don't want, because I said this, and I don't know how much of it was Daniel Jones getting killed out there, or how much it was him favoring that caused the ankle sprain. I mean, that's the thing. I said that, man. You cannot go in there 60% healthy, because if you are favoring something, you're going to hurt something else. Again, I'm not a professional athlete, but being a guy that played sports, being a guy that works out, I know if I'm not 100%, something's bothering me and I'm favoring it, I'm going to put more strain on something else to avoid putting strain on the part that hurt.
I thought the same exact thing. The hamstring causes other leg to get an injury. I agree with that.
Yep, I agree. Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Really, Giants should win. They're the best in the division. We are still, well, listen.
Without Jones and without Bradbury, we're not the best in the division.
It's hard to say. Well, listen, I mean, we beat Washington twice. Yeah, we are still the best in the division. I don't give a damn. Yeah, we are. We are the best. That's right.
We got to find a way to get a W. I'm not we got to find a way to get a W, John.
Listen, the one good thing, Chris, we'll know our fate before that game starts.
That's true. We'll know. We realistically could be in first place going into that game with a W.
We could.
If we get a W.
If Washington loses, and we'll be rooting for them to lose, and Philly to lose. Well, we root for that anyway. But if they all lose, and we're playing Sunday night, we pull out a miracle.
We're in first place.
We're in first place, and you never know. Listen, as much as Griffin pissed me off with that, saying we overlooked them, there's nothing to say Cleveland might not do the same thing. It's very possible that a team has a letdown. They just lost to Baltimore. But it's very possible that you have a letdown when you're like, oh, it's called McCoy. We ain't got to worry about him.
We'll see.
Cruz Really, my man. He says, I was so wrong on Justin Herbert. I get depressed every time I see him play. Yeah, you and me. Well, I wasn't wrong, but I loved him. He says, I don't care what Washington fans say. They wish they drafted Herbert. Cruz, I don't know if you were in the stream Wednesday. I said that in that stream that Washington, as good as Chase Young is, Washington would have been smarter to draft Tua or Herbert. They really would have. Their defense was good enough without Chase Young. They don't have a quarterback for the future. They would have been smarter to draft one of them, in my opinion.
I think most people had Chase Young as the best prospect in last year's draft, but I agree with you, though. If I would have said I went into the year assuming that Washington was going to give Herbert the whole year. And when they pulled him in 2 or 3 starts, I agree with you. If they had that little faith in Dwayne Haskins, I think they should have drafted a quarterback in this year's draft, because you don't know. Next year, they're not going to be picking near the top of the draft. Now, they're probably going to win the division. They're going to be picking 19. And you got Alex Smith, a 37-year-old quarterback. So as good as Chase Young is, you could actually make a strong argument, being that they had so little faith in Dwayne Haskins going into the year, that they would have been better off drafting a quarterback, whether it be Tua or Herbert.
I agree. I think it would have been the best case scenario for them to do that. And maybe you try to move Haskins. I mean, maybe somebody would take a shot and give you a 4th round or something. I mean, obviously they have no faith in him, so it doesn't really matter that they drafted him in the 1st round. It's pretty obvious they don't.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does this week. I don't know. But, just remember, somebody commented on a video that I did about how the Giants were, evaluating Justin Herbert or something, and somebody said, I wish this was true. I totally forgot I made that video. I totally forgot that the Giants were watching him play, and it's not like it mattered, but it was Justin, I say it all the time, the first stream you and I ever did, I talked about how I wanted to bring Teddy Bridgewater in here as a stopgap quarterback and draft Justin Herbert, and I thought Herbert was coming out in the draft that year, but draft Herbert and have him sit here behind Bridgewater. I still wish that would have happened. Dire Giants, man. Brilly, my man. What up, guys? Need this D-line to perform without a mistake. Our secondary's lacking. Sucks to have our shutdown corner out. Imagine if we had 2 in the 2nd round of this year's draft. Wide receiver 1. Yeah, there's a lot of good wide receivers in the draft this year. So
they're gonna address, in my opinion, they're gonna address the wide receiver either in the 1st round of this year's draft or in free agency. It's too big of a need right now. And the mission for me next year as a Giants fan, if they're sticking with Jones, which I think they are, I'd be surprised if they don't, is to not leave any room for doubt. Next year we don't want to leave next year with excuses. We don't want to leave next year saying to ourselves, well, we still don't know. Maybe he could, maybe he can't. I want to give Jones everything he possibly could need, and if it doesn't work and you don't see significant progress, then you could reasonably say, yeah, it's time to look for somebody else.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. No excuses. Get him a number one receiver so we don't have to hear that. No number one receiver. Lou Mateo, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Yes, Mr. Lou Senior got me that class. I love it. What up, fellas? I don't take it personal, Giants fans. I have a love-hate relationship. Everyone hated Eli Manning because he wasn't Peyton until he won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Well, that's true. I mean, but, I say it all the time. Eli had something that Daniel Jones doesn't. That I saw Eli in his second year. It's just something Eli has it. I don't see it. But that's just my opinion.
Well, no, I agree with you. I'm not saying Daniel Jones can't be good with the right pieces around him, but in terms of a talent and prospect coming in the NFL, Eli Manning was a better prospect.
Yeah.
Eli Manning was the first overall pick. He was a no-doubter. Daniel Jones was a guy that everybody was surprised went as early as he did in the first round. In terms of a prospect coming in, they're not very comparable.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Strong Eye Shinobi, man. Thank you for becoming a member. Brilly. Strong Eye Shinobi, welcome to the Dog Pound. Yo, Dog Pound members. Welcome to Strong Eye Shinobi into the Dog Pound, baby. Hoo, let's go. Kevin Lynch, Brilly. Giants should have stuck with the original plan and drafted Herbert. Gettleman panicked when he returned from his senior year. Would have killed us to let Eli play out his last. Stuck with a day 2 quarterback. Man,
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's the thing. Like, and I'll probably do a video on Gettleman tomorrow. I haven't done a video in a couple of days. I want to talk about Dave Gettleman, but listen, I'm not trying to make excuses for Dave Gettleman, okay, at all. I don't make excuses for people. You guys should know when I do videos. You should know me by now, okay? I don't make excuses. But I swear, that Barkley pick's not his, then I don't know how much of Daniel Jones was his either. I don't, okay? Dave Gettleman, to me, is a guy that likes to hog mollies. To me, his pick 2018 was Quentin Nelson. I think that was the guy that he wanted to take. But again, I'm just,
It's opinion. It's a theory.
All right, it's a theory. But Barkley's think about what Gettleman wants. He wants to freaking build the trenches. And Barkley don't build the trenches. And Daniel Jones don't build the trenches. They already said Shermer had a huge impact on that pick anyway. So
I mean, as far as the Barkley pick goes, I think it was definitely. I mean, I'm not denying that Gettleman probably liked Barkley. He said all those great things about him. He was a great prospect.
Awesome.
But I think the reason ownership accepted him as the owner is because he was willing to try to win rather than rebuild in 2018 to try to help out Eli Manning. And obviously, you're not taking a quarterback there, and you're probably not trading down. You're trying to get the most immediate impact player that could try and help you win a Super Bowl in 2018. I think that's why they took Barkley, and I think that's why they went after Solder, because they knew they weren't drafting an offensive lineman in the draft. They signed Solder.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's no doubt. You signed Solder and you draft Quentin Nelson, and they traded for Zeitler. No, that was next year.
That was 19.
That was the next year. But still, it just tells you he wanted. I don't know. I don't think the Barkley was his. I really don't. Jeffrey Abbey. He's a big Daniel Jones fan, by the way. If you guys didn't know, Jeffrey Abbey's the biggest number 8 fan you've ever seen. By the way, I found my Daniel Jones jersey. I finally found that damn jersey.
Oh, yeah?
I was in the hamper downstairs. And we never the hamper downstairs is like clothes that just never get washed. All the clothes upstairs get washed. Kind of forget about that. I found it in there the other day. I was looking for like an old pair of sweatpants to go
jogging.
Put some clothes on the hamper, and I moved it, and I was like, there's a jersey. Oh, there's my Daniel Jones jersey. Maybe that I took it out. Well, he's not going to play, so it ain't going to help anything. Or maybe because I couldn't find it all year, he was bad. I don't know. I'm thinking about going reverse psychology on Monday or on Sunday night and wearing Odell Beckham. I'm thinking about wearing Odell Beckham as reverse psychology
against his team. All right.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might try that.
All right, we'll see. Whatever works, man.
I don't know. We're going to find out. Jeffrey, thank you, man. Brilly says Chargers go from quarterback Phillip Rivers to quarterback Justin Herbert. Giants go from quarterback Eli Manning to quarterback number 8.
Can't even say his name. Jeffrey loves Daniel Jones, doesn't he?
He will not say his name under any circumstance. Maybe if he ever wins a Super Bowl.
If Daniel Jones ever gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think Jeffrey will he'll camp out months before the ceremony.
I think he'll do his induction speech.
I think he'd do his induction speech, and I think when they raise the jerseys at the Ring of Honor,
Yes.
I think Jeffrey will be the guy pulling the rope.
I think so. And you know how Phil Simms threw one to Lawrence Taylor? I think that Daniel Jones will throw one to Jeffrey Abbey. We'll see. Rudy T, our man, Brilly. What beer are we drinking when we get to the playoffs? A cold one.
Stella. We'll go with Stella if we make the playoffs, Rudy. We'll see. One game at a time.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We shall see what we shall see. I'm liking this brown stuff. Listen, the stout and the porters are really good in the winter. Like, that's what I want to drink in the winter. And today I just wanted to go with something different. But I grabbed that porter. But since it's $10 a 4-pack, I'm like, man, I don't want to get 8 beers for $20. 4 at a time. Sox, Arizona. I call him Locks, Arizona, because he has great locks. Brilly. He says, I love this matchup. My dad lives in Ohio and is a huge Browns fan. Miss you and love you, Dad. The season is not over. Do you guys believe? Go Big Blue. Hey, one of the greatest Yankees of all time said it best, man. It ain't over till it's over, right? It ain't over till it's over.
Any given Sunday. I'm not picking us, but any given Sunday. Crazier things have happened. Yeah, I mean, we get some bounces to go our way. The defense plays a great game, creates some turnovers. Yeah, we could win. And then maybe you get back Bradbury healthy, Jones healthy. Who knows? But it's one game at a time. We'll see what happens, man.
Chris Berman said that's why they play the games. Who the hell thought we were going to beat Seattle with Colt McCoy? Besides me, because I really did. We're going to win the game. And then I can't come out here and say I think we're going to win this one. We have a chance. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to definitively lose. We will be in this game. They will not blow us out this time. This will not be a blowout.
The one thing I'll say, I mentioned it on Twitter today when I was like looking over Cleveland's schedule this year. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me look real quick. Yeah, it was four. Their last 4 wins outside of one.
Tennessee was a good one.
Outside of the Tennessee win, they've played. They're Jacksonville, Houston, the Bengals, and the Eagles combined. They won by 13 points. So they kind of play down to their level of competition. I don't know. Maybe the Giants get some breaks. Who knows?
Well, we got to, man. By the way, you got 357 in the house. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do me a favor if you haven't done so. Hit that thumbs up button. It does help out the stream. Smash the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and ring the bell. More importantly, make sure you go into the description. Link to the Entertainer Talkin' Sports is there. If you're just happening to tune into this show tonight, thank you for watching. We do this every week. We alternate channels. We also stream every Giants game together in alternate channels. Sunday night, we'll be on Chris's channel, the Entertainer Talkin' Sports. So make sure you sub up both channels, ring the bells. And, of course, thank you for watching. And let's go Giants. Shabi, really. He says, let's hope we get the Bad Baker Sunday. But if anything, we'll have a Knicks-Lakers finals. That would be amazing if that happened. Yeah. It'd be funny because then I'd sit there with all my Knicks gear and everybody knows me as Laker Dog, but that's the way it would go. Also, do we care about Sam Beal next year?
No, I don't have any faith in him. As far as the Knicks go, I'll definitely be calling some Knicks games. Won't be able to call the first 3 because I'm going to be away, but the Knicks look really good. Preseason, the last couple of nights. I know it's preseason, but Kevin Knox, man, he knocked down 6 threes tonight. The rookie Quickly's looking good. Maybe they come out fighting for the new coach Thibodeau.
Maybe they win 30 games this year.
That's a big step.
Listen, much like the Giants, you just want to see the Knicks improve, please. I mean, that's all you ask for. Let the Knicks improve, for crying out loud. Let them have some sort of direction. That team hasn't had direction in 20 years.
I'm actually I don't want to get too optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the future of the Knicks. I like some of the young players on the team.
I like Thibodeau, and I like Obi Toppin. I thought that I was glad that he fell to them.
Barrett looks like he's maturing. Mitch Robinson, I still like.
Great.
I still like Ntilikina. I don't love him as a starter, but I like him. I like him as a. I like him. I like him as a nice guy off the bench, but. We need a couple of impact players, but I do think the Knicks are headed down the right path.
I'm getting down to where I must have talked about the Beckham jersey because I'm a little behind in the chat because I'm doing the super chats. But I see everybody say do it, Baddog. So I'm going to wear the Beckham jersey on Sunday night.
There you go.
People that aren't in the stream be like, why are you wearing Beckham? Reverse psychology. Now, a Giants fan, Brilly. Last year, I'm taking Justin Herbert. I wanted him to come out in 18. Any Giant I root for till he's not. No, I agree. I mean, listen, I'm hard on Daniel Jones, but as I said in the stream with Pizzle, that's because I thought very highly of him. And I said, if you guys had the expectations for Daniel Jones that I did, and he's played like this, you'd be pissed off at him too. You'd be mad at him too. I'm mad because I expected much better. I know Oh, all this stuff, all the excuses you want to make, and I mean they're legitimate, but I don't believe in that because his pocket awareness, presence, the ability to feel the pressure, delivering the ball late, anticipating throws, and being able to read the field has nothing to do with Jason Garrett. Nothing.
Yeah.
Before, without
I think it was
number one receiver or not, Chris, if he doesn't scan the field and he don't feel pressure, it ain't gonna matter.
Yeah, I think it was a legitimate excuse the first 5-6 games of the year because new scheme, didn't have a normal offseason. This last game, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact he was hurt. But regardless, I cannot say he's progressed nearly as much as I was hoping for in the second half. He did get better in terms of not turning the football over for 3 straight games, but he still wasn't putting the team on his back. And I recognize there's factors, doesn't have weapons, but we need to see a huge improvement in his third year for me to be optimistic going forward with Daniel Jones.
Huge is an understatement. He has to have a bit. Yeah, Daniel Jones has to have a year where he throws for 3,500, 3,800 yards and throws at least twice as many touchdowns as
he needs 30 touchdowns.
As much as it's total turnovers. So if he throws 28 touchdowns, he can have between fumbles and interceptions like 14. He's going to have 2-to-1 ratio, not 32 to 37 like he has in his career. This can't happen. He got to stop turning the damn ball over. He's got to. We're not going to win any game. Again, I don't care how many number one receivers you have or how great your offensive line. If he don't feel pressure and doesn't protect the ball, it ain't going to matter. The turnovers are what kills this guy. Physically, Daniel Jones can do it, which is why I was so high on him. Mentally, I'm scared. I'm scared that he don't have what it takes. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope that improves next year, but it did this year. Cruiser, really says, I still believe in Daniel Jones. Well, we differ as usual, Cruiser. I don't know what to say. Comrade Dog, really. Oh, look at that picture. Is that a dachshund? I love dachshunds.
That is a dachshund. Awesome. It's a good-looking dachshund.
That's a dachshund right there. I called them Longies. I was actually what I called I had a miniature dachshund. I called her Longie, even though her name was Kahlua, but it's long. Longie. He says, I got my LT jersey ready for this week. Ain't nothing wrong with LT. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all.
Maybe LT could suit up. We could use him.
LT's great, man. I was on such an LT kick this past week too, man. It was, I bought the rookie card. I was sharing the video of how much, that highlight video of Lawrence Taylor is the best freaking highlight video ever on YouTube. It's by John Smith. You just got to type in Lawrence Taylor. The thing, it's like shows up right away. It's on my homepage, actually. I love it so much. And then, I was posting it. I was just like, the GOAT. That's all that matters. I was just because I was hyped up about the defense. And I'm like,
he's the man. LT's the man.
Kevin, man, thank you for the super chat. Really imagine if Gettleman had moved up for Metcalf from Brown at 30 instead of DeAndre stick him up Baker. I don't think he had to move up. I think they could have drafted Metcalf.
Yeah, they could have. Metcalf went. Did he go in the third round? He went at least late second.
Late second because the Seahawks picked late. So, yeah.
We could have had him. I mean, but so could have every other team that passed up on him too. But yeah, we definitely could have taken him.
It would have been nice to have him for sure.
Yeah.
Samuel, man, thank you for the super chat, brother. Really, Kitchen's gonna cook up a dub against his former team. I like that. I like that pun there.
That's another thing we didn't talk about. Garrett obviously not going to be the offensive coordinator this week with the with the COVID. And I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact because it's still the same playbook. Maybe situationally he calls different plays, but it's still the same scheme. And that seems to be what everybody's complaining about with Garrett. They don't like the passing concepts and things like that. So, but yeah, and I'll tell you what, if the Giants do move on and they stay in-house, I would think Kitchens would be the favorite to land the job. He was an OC with Cleveland, and he's got ties to Judge. So if they don't bring somebody from the outside, Kitchens could very well be our OC next year.
That's a good point, though. I mean, I know the scheme's going to be the same, but it'll be interesting to see what Freddie Kitchens called. Like I said, if the Giants come out and their offense looks a lot better with Colt McCoy there, people are probably going to be calling. Well, people don't like Garrett anyway. I honestly don't think Garrett was that bad until last week. I thought Garrett's game plan was terrible.
Yeah,
I thought everybody was bad. Everybody.
I think people are. I'm not saying Garrett's perfect. He definitely is not. He hasn't been great. But I personally, and this is my opinion, I personally think that people are overrating how bad Garrett's been. I think there's a lot of factors. Not just Jason Garrett. Saquon Barkley going down. I posted on Twitter. Saquon Barkley in 14 starts. Daniel Jones, when Barkley doesn't play, has 9 touchdowns and 13 picks. In 10 starts when Barkley plays, he has 23 touchdowns and 8 picks.
Yeah,
He's a different quarterback.
To that, though, and you got to remember 3 of those games, he had 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. So
it forces you to stack the box when Barkley plays, though, because he's a weapon.
Yeah.
Even if Barkley's not, I'm not saying it's all Barkley, but my point is, I think that's part of it. I think, maybe Garrett's play calling is part of it. Daniel Jones' regression, the fact we don't have weapons. I think there's a lot of factors. I think a lot of people just want to point to Garrett that are Daniel Jones guys, and I don't think it's all Garrett.
Listen, they go hand in hand, guys. Jason Garrett was playing with a brand new offensive line. Remember, he had no time with these guys either. I say it all the time, man. If you're going to make excuses for Daniel Jones, you have to make the same excuses for Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett can only call plays for what's out there, right? Jason Garrett isn't fumbling the ball 3 times. Jason Garrett isn't throwing interceptions. Jason Garrett isn't, allowing linemen to come free on stunts. They got to figure that the hell out.
And I was a Shermer guy in terms of scheme. I thought Jones did fit Shermer's scheme well. But for everybody that says he was so great in Shermer's scheme, go back and look. Daniel Jones had 4 starts at 15 touchdowns at 0 picks, and the other 8 starts, 2/3 of his starts, he was horrible.
Right.
So it's not just Jason Garrett.
Yeah, that's my point too. So Vigilante, thank you, man. Brilly, hey, bad dog. I'm betting we lose to Cleveland and Washington loses to Seattle, but we shock everyone and beat Baltimore and Dallas while Jalen Hurts beats Washington. We go to the playoffs. I love it. Nothing would make me more happy than beating Dallas to go to the playoffs. Nothing. That'd be the best ever.
That would be great. And by the way, I just saw Neely write this in the chat. I said this today on my Discord, and I agree with him. It's a guy that's not getting any publicity for Coach of the Year. If Washington wins out, Ron Rivera might win Coach of the Year.
Hey, I was saying Joe Judge. So there's no reason Ron Rivera shouldn't be considered either.
Yeah. He's done a hell of a job with Washington. 3 different quarterbacks, a team that was not supposed to be competing this year. If they win out, and they could.
And
if they win,
cancer on top.
Yeah, if they win this week, I think they probably will win out. I think they'll beat the Cowboys. I think they'll beat the Eagles. I think he might very well be the Coach of the Year.
Man, I can't imagine having to root for the Eagles the last week of the season, but it might come down to that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to root for Philadelphia?
No. Well, if the players are on the line, yes. But
no, that's I'm just saying.
I would hate to do it.
Yeah. Dire man, Brilly, man, really appreciate it. He says, I keep saying without influence, DJ needs to play a full season, win games from behind to be paid. My own opinion to handicap. No, I agree. That's the thing. For me, when we were behind, Eli Manning made plays even early in his career. Go down the field, win a game for the Giants. Every time Daniel Jones has got that opportunity, he's failed. Outside of the Philadelphia game, not that we were behind. He did everything he could. Ingram dropped the ball. I will not put that loss in danger.
His debut game, too.
His debut game was fantastic. But then, then the NFL gets a book on you. And, it's a Vigilante, man. Thank you, brother. You didn't have to super chat again just to say bad dog. I know what you meant, man. I appreciate it, though. Really. I know you didn't mean bad dog. The end. It happens to me, too. I put bad fog a lot when I'm typing stuff in. So you didn't have to do that. I appreciate it, brother. Zach Phillips, really. DJ's hands are tied when it comes to change play. What do you mean? You don't think he gets the opportunity to change the plays?
Maybe it means the scheme. Jones definitely has the opportunity to change the plays. You've seen it in recent weeks. I go back to that Evan Ingram play where he hit him down the sideline. I think it was against Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. He changed that play at the line of scrimmage. So if that's what he's talking about, he definitely has the freedom to change plays. The other thing I want to talk about, the 3rd and 1 call against this past week, which was horrible. We talked about it. I think that's more on Jones than Garrett, though. Everybody pointed to Garrett. Now, first off, Garrett should have run the ball.
Yes.
But once they called the pass play, I don't think the intended receiver on that play was the 50-50 ball. I don't. No. I think Jones took it upon himself to throw it there. I think it was the underneath route. I don't think Garrett was going to call for a 50-50 ball on the right sideline as the top target on that play. I think Jones made that decision to make that throw to that wide receiver.
Nope, great call. And it's the only receiver he looked at, too. Maybe he just went with his first read again, just chucked the ball down the sideline. Just not smart. And even if Jason Goins, what the hell am I saying? Jason Garrett. If Jason Garrett calls a pass, Daniel Jones cannot shout him and say, to hell with it. I'm running the ball. It's 3rd and 1. I'm running the ball. Unless they don't have faith in him calling the plays, but Daniel Jones could have easily said, you know what, the hell with that. We're not
They
doing
should have ran. I think we both agree on that. Yeah, they should have ran. It was a mistake to call a passing play, but
Sarah boy Bodo Winners. And what's up, Bodo? How you doing, man? Rudy T, thank you for the super chat. Billy says, if we didn't draft DJ, would Eli retire when he did? Yeah, I don't think Eli was getting another contract. He retired because his contract was up.
It's a good question, though. I mean, the only way he wouldn't have, Rudy, is if they showed promise last year. If he was the starter and say they win 8 or 9 games, which I don't think was going to happen. They got off to an 0-2 start. The defense was horrendous. But if the Giants won 8 or 9 games last year, maybe would have been back. I think they probably would have won an extra game or 2 had Eli been the starter last year. Just my personal opinion. But I don't think they were winning 8 or 9. So I think, like Baddog said, it was his last year no matter what.
Yeah. J-Man J, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly, my man. He says, let's remember the Eli draft. Big Ben was drafted 11th and is arguably better than Eli and Rivers in that draft. Giants are picking 10th this year. Yeah, but Roethlisberger also to a really, really, really good freaking team.
Perfect situation.
I mean, Pittsburgh was great when he got there.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes, I think, was 10th overall. So there's a history. But again, you want to talk about a guy that went to a great situation, not taking anything away from Mahomes. But I don't care at the draft number. At the end of the day, if they feel like a guy is a great quarterback, go ahead and take him. I don't think they're going to feel that way, though.
I don't. Well, they may, but I still don't think they're going.
I don't think they're going quarterback at 10.
No. Joshua Orozco, thank you for the super chat. Really would rather have McLaurin take him away from Washington football team, and he's a top 10 wide receiver without a good quarterback. I think Russell Wilson and good coaching made Metcalf. I mean, it's very possible.
Metcalf's a freak, though, Baddog.
Oh, he's ridiculous. I mean, he's a freak. But, I mean, again, listen, that's one of my contentions about Daniel Jones. He's got no receivers. He's got no number one. They get no separation. Number one, we don't see the whole field. So you don't know how many guys are actually open because he doesn't scan it. Number two, you only see the ball when it's being delivered to the receiver because the camera's always on Jones. So you don't know when that receiver's open if he's delivering the ball late and the defender gets to get back there. That's my talk about him anticipating throws. When a receiver's running an out pattern, he's supposed to throw the ball to the outside before he makes his break. The ball should be in the air, and the receiver should be then turning and going and getting the ball. Or if it's a hook, he has to throw the ball before the receiver turns around, and when the receiver turns around, it should be right in his chest. That's what in the NFL, one step's wide open, and you have to throw your receivers open at some point. So, yes, good quarterbacks will make receivers better. And I do think that DK Metcalf on Seattle
of course,
benefits from Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson definitely helps. He helps anybody.
Yeah. Pandemonium, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, DJ said he didn't change the play. No, Chris.
That's not what I was saying. Yeah.
He was saying to a different receiver.
Yeah, I was saying my guess, Pandemonium, and we'll never know this because Garrett's not going to throw Jones under the bus, and Jones probably wouldn't admit it publicly, that the number one intended receiver on that route was not the 50-50 ball. I think it was probably the guy coming underneath on that crossing pattern that was a 2 or 3 yard pattern, and he elected to go on the 50-50 ball on the right sideline. Yeah,
because it was one-on-one coverage. It was good coverage, but, yeah, I agree. I mean, I never thought about that. It's a good point. What I was saying was that Daniel Jones could have had the option to say, the hell with this, I'm audible into a run. Or, maybe he thought that Arizona wasn't looking for that play, and he thought he could hit a big one, but it was a bad decision. And it was a bad decision to call a pass.
It's the wrong spot on the field to do that. If you're going to do that midfield, take a shot, then you could go for it on 4th down, but it was the wrong spot on the field to do it.
The first pass was bad, too. I mean, it's a 1 yard out or 1 yard hook.
That was the play calling.
I mean,
that was the play calling. That wasn't Jones. That was a really stupid play.
That's what I'm saying. It's a dumb play, and then in the next play, you run it for 9 yards. That was completely backwards.
Yeah.
It should have been run pass. It should have been run 2nd and 1. Then you take the deep shot. Okay, you miss. Then you run it and get the first down. That was completely backwards. You're a Giants, man. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly says Fisk's video the other day was ridiculous. Eli was top 5 in yards and touchdowns in the second year, and DJ isn't even in the top half of the league. Yeah,
I didn't see Fisk's video, but I'm assuming based off of that, Fisk said that Daniel Jones is better than Eli ever was.
No, he was saying that DJ's way ahead of where Eli was after 2 years.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree.
And I think I'm going to say this. I don't think Eli was great after 2 years. You can maybe make an argument that they're relatively close, but one, the turnovers weren't even close. Eli Manning only lost 2 fumbles his first 2 years in the league combined.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones loses 2 fumbles in some games. So that the pocket awareness is definitely in favor of Eli. The arm strength was definitely in favor of Eli. But statistically speaking, outside of the turnovers, yeah, you could definitely make that argument. But it's just the eye test. I watched Eli start to finish. I saw it year 2. I knew he had that comeback gene in him. He had a number of big comebacks in his second year. And just the arm talent. It's not a knock on Jones. Eli had very, very good arm strength.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's the eye test. And the other thing, you got to remember this, guys. Kevin Gilbride had Eli Manning throwing deep, high risk, high reward, low percentage passes. That's not Daniel Jones' game. Everybody complains he don't go deep ever. So his passes are a higher percentage. Eli Manning, the game is different. I hate when people compare the games. You can't compare 15 years ago to now. The game is way different. Everything's set up for the quarterback and the wide receiver. It's not the same anymore. Okay, you can't get away with a guy having an 85 quarterback rating. That's bottom 10 in the league now. Where 85 when Eli was playing, that was close to top 10. Big difference.
I see John say Eli had a better O-line. That's not debatable.
No,
I say it all the time. Eli Manning had a much better supporting cast when he came into the league. The New York Giants failed Daniel Jones. I'll be the first to tell you that. Daniel Jones did not have near the supporting cast that Eli Manning had coming into the league. It's why I was so against taking a quarterback when they did it, because I knew he was going to be set up for failure. So because we saw what happened to Eli the second half of his career because they couldn't set him up for success. So you're not going to hear me debate that. But in terms of just watching them play, I don't even think it's comparable. I think Eli Manning was the more talented quarterback coming into the league.
Well, like you said, he was drafted number 1 overall. People thought Jones was a second-day quarterback. So, or third day, whatever. They were thinking the guy is second or third round, not sixth.
Yeah.
Eli, there was no doubt about it. Big Rube. Thank you for super chat. Brilly says, as a Cowboys fan, I can't stand the Giants, but I like your channel. I appreciate that, man. When's your next NFC East roundtable? It'll probably be after the year. I'd imagine I'll get those guys together again. We'll talk about, what happened. When someone's going to win this division, so when their season's done, whether that's Washington or us or Philly, I mean, any of them can really win. But whenever the season's over, I'll try to get those guys back together and do it again. I love working with the NFC East guys, man. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate that, man. So thank you, brother. J-Man J, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, MTN did a good job. Jones ain't Eli.
Mike, too nice. Yeah, I watched that video. Yeah, it was a good video. I mean, again, like Baddog said, you can't even compare them statistically. You can't. It's 2 different eras. Yeah. Like Eli, I think had like a 52% completion his first 2 years combined, which is bad even back then. Yeah. But that's probably more like 60 now, 62 now. It was a completely different game. You can't compare errors. I can tell you right now, I watched Eli start to finish, and I'm not going to tell you he was ever an elite quarterback outside of 1 year and in the playoffs, but Eli Manning had more talent than Daniel Jones does. He just did. Jones has more mobility, but in terms of throwing the football, Eli Manning was a more talented quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Also, you got to remember something, guys. I talk about the play calling. When Ben McAdoo got there and they went to the West Coast style of offense, Eli Manning's had the highest completion percentage of his career. When he had safer passes, he was at 63, 64%. So play calling has a lot to do with it. You got to remember that. That's why I hate, guys, some guy on my channel is still talking about the Daniel Jones thing. I noticed he's like, well, what about Phil Simms? I'm like, dude, it's not 1982. Can we not compare Daniel Jones to Phil Simms? Like, it's not even close. That's a lot.
It's a completely different game.
You can't, man. Strong out Shinobi. Brilly says, OC stung up the joint so bad. COVID said, come have a damn seat, son. All jokes aside, wish Jason Garrett a speedy recovery.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy that happens. But it will be interesting to see what Kitchens calls against his old team. So it'll be maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Who knows? Jay Moda, Brilly says, remember the Giants almost gave up on Simms. I did not read that before I mentioned that, by the way. He says, Parcells started Bruner his first season as coach. We need to give DJ every opportunity. I swear to God, I did not read that before I talked about Phil Simms.
I agree with him, though. I'm giving him another year. But here's the thing I'm going to say. This is the nature of the league right now, Baddog, and this is what I said. And it may not all be entirely Daniel Jones' fault. It may not be. Like next year, maybe they don't draft him a wide receiver. Maybe they don't fix the scheme. But the way that the NFL works, Bad Dog, if you can't identify whether or not a guy is going to be a franchise quarterback, or at least if you're not close to knowing if a guy could be a franchise quarterback by the end of his third year, you have to think about bringing in a new quarterback, because at the end of the day, you got to restart that clock. If you're still questioning about whether or not, like if Daniel Jones next year, we leave next season and we say to ourselves, and maybe there's factors. Maybe the offensive line still stinks. Maybe the wide receivers don't create separation. Maybe he's not in the ideal spot. But regardless, it is better to restart that clock and have 4 years to figure it out for the next quarterback than only 1 year left for Daniel Jones if there's a quarterback that you like in next year's draft. So if we leave next year's season saying to ourselves, well, Daniel Jones might be, 25th, 26th, 27th best quarterback in the league, or 20th. If he's not even close to top 10, you got to think about drafting a quarterback in the next draft.
I completely agree. By the way, guys, we got over 500 people in here, so thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. If you guys have come in and haven't done so, do me a favor. Smash the thumbs up button. Hit that. Helps out the stream a lot, so hit that thumbs up. Also, make sure if you're new to this channel, you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. More importantly, go into the description. Some Up Tainah Talkin Sports link is there. If you just happen to tune in, never seen this show, we do it every week. We alternate channels. We also stream every Giants game together. We alternate channels. Sunday night, we'll be on the Up Tainah's channel calling the Browns and Giants game. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for being here. Subo, brilly. Jones has suffered ankle sprains this year, last year, and at Duke. Recurring sprains are bad news, especially for a quarterback. Yeah,
Well, that's something we didn't even talk about. That's to me, that's probably the biggest concern for me right now with Jones. Is that going to be a repetitive cycle? Because you don't want that with your quarterback. Not to say that we got spoiled with Eli. I don't expect that. But is he going to miss 2 or 3 games every year? Kind of like Ben Roethlisberger. You don't want that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Joshua, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, which catch y'all think is better, helmet catch or Mario Manning toe tap? The helmet catch, without a doubt. The throw was man.
I think the better question, Bad Dog, is what was more impressive, the helmet catch or Eli's throw to Manningham? I think that's the better question.
That's good. The throw. That throw, you will never find a quarterback throws better pass than that one. That is could be the best, considering the situation. That could be the best pass I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's the greatest throw in NFL history. I really mean that. When you factor in all the circumstances and everything else, I think it's the greatest throw in the history of the NFL.
I mean, he put that in front of the safety, behind the cornerback. You can't 40 yards down the field.
4 minutes to go in the Super Bowl. First play of the drive.
Greatest, it's the greatest throw I've ever seen. We'll put it that way. You can't. Nobody can. You'll never see a better throw. It can't get better than that. Perfect. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Justin Tuck even said, "How do you do that?" He said, "I just feel it." He felt it. Boy, I'll tell you what. I remember they were replaying it, and even though I knew it was in, man, I was pacing around the house. I'm pacing around down here. I'm like, "Oh my god." Please say that's complete. Lou Mateo, Brilly. Are you guys going to call preseason games next year? Yes.
Yeah, we didn't call them this year, obviously, because there weren't any. But yeah.
But yes, we do all the preseason games. We do every Giants game together. And Paul, Brilly. Do you guys think the Giants should have taken Josh Allen in 2019 and waited to take Herbert this year? Personally, I'm conflicted.
Did you watch our draft reaction?
Just going to say that.
I mean, in fairness, Allen got hurt this year. He only played 2 games. And here's what I'll say, man. At the end of the day, if Jones works out, it was the right pick, because a quarterback is a quarterback. If Jones works out, I don't care how good Josh Allen is, it was the right pick if he becomes a franchise quarterback. But he's got to improve a lot.
Yeah, that's true. You went a little mad in there. A quarterback is a quarterback.
Oh, well, yeah. Quarterback is a quarterback. Quarterback's a quarterback.
I laugh because I see Jordan Renan's in the chat.
Jordan, how you doing, buddy? He was in my stream the other day.
He says, yeah, Brilly, Jordan. He says, can't say Jones has no weapons and give Gettleman credit. Either Gettleman drafted a bust or Gettleman didn't set Jones up with enough talent. Yeah, but I mean, we had so many positions we needed. I mean, if he drafted offensive line to try to protect Daniel Jones. I don't know what he can do there.
Well, for this offseason in particular, Jordan, there, like Bad Dog said, there were so many holes. They could only fix so many. And obviously their free agency money went to fixing the defense. It was the worst defense in football last year. So they made sure that they shored that up and improved the defense. And then they shored up the offensive line, or attempted to. in this year's draft. That was obviously the focus. You could definitely make an argument. Maybe they should have drafted a wide receiver in 2019 in the second or third round. They didn't. So, yeah, if you want to get on them for that, you definitely can. But I think it's a rebuild. They started from scratch. And I think by next year, they better get him a top-tier wide receiver. I will say that. And yeah, I think it's a fair criticism for people that say we should have got, drafted a receiver instead of Baker. Yeah, you could say that. But at the time, we definitely needed a corner as well. So we had a lot of needs, Baddog. We ripped the team apart.
We did. I'll tell you what, Jordan, if we don't address it this year, I think you can get on Gettleman's case. I think that is the number one priority, is to get Daniel Jones. Because like Chris said, this is the year, because his rookie contract will be up 2022. You want to know what you got after the third year before you even consider signing that guy. So, yeah, there's going to be no excuse. They got to get him number one receiver, and I think they will. Samuel, brilly, my man. Thank you, sir. Do we get Freeman back? If so, much does he add? Yes, we are getting Freeman.
Yeah, I think he's off the IR or whatever it is. Yes.
Don't know how much he adds. It'll depend on the game plan. I think you're still going to see – I think you'll still see a lot of Wayne Gallman, but maybe Freeman gets some touches. I think they'll still stay with Gallman and Morris. That seems to have worked. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with Devontae Freeman. Zach, really, if we ever trade DJ and DJ gets to a good team, he'll be talked about as a top 10 quarterback. Maybe. But you know what? If he doesn't work here and he goes somewhere else in a better situation where a team can use him better, then you can't sit there and go, oh, God, we let that guy get away. Because Chris, he's a bad situation here. He came in at a bad time. If he goes to a team that's set up like the Cowboys, then he could succeed.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Baddog, what would you rather have in 2022? Daniel Jones going into his fourth year, or drafting a quarterback that has the same amount of talent as Daniel Jones? He's not even an improvement. Same amount of talent, but you reset the rookie contract.
I'd rather have Jones.
You'd rather have the guy with the same amount of talent as Jones, but you have 3 extra years to mold him with a better support system. So if the timeline doesn't add up, he has to prove that he could potentially be a franchise quarterback by the end of his third year.
Right. Well, I don't want a guy. If we're going to get a quarterback, I want a guy with more talent than him. I don't want.
Of course, I'm just saying, if the options were this guy has the same amount of talent as Jones, or you have to stick with Jones for his fourth year, and we have to take a quarterback, you're going to take the guy with equal talent to Jones, but you get 4 more years of figuring out about whether or not he can do it on a rookie deal.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense for sure. Wow, I'm way behind here. Richard, man, thank you for the super chat. Really says, hey, Baddog, is Daniel Jones going to hold y'all back from where you need to go? Well, I mean, he's the quarterback. He's the biggest piece. And if he continues to turn the ball over, yes. He's got to stop turning the damn ball over. That's my bugaboo with him. And I know he wasn't healthy. His hamstring don't hold the ball. He fumbled 3 times. That can't happen. It's just got to stop. That's what drove me crazy. I'm like, dude, he's got to figure out a way to hold on to the football. Okay? Yeah. I don't care his hamstring's hurt. I get that. But your hamstring ain't holding on to the ball. Feel the
I also want to make sure that people understand what I'm saying. I see people saying we can't draft Lawrence this year. I do not want to draft the quarterback this year. We're talking, I am at least talking in the hypothetical scenario of taking a quarterback in 2022 if Jones does not significantly improve in 2021.
Right. Yeah, he'll be back this year for sure. Dire Giants fan, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly. He says, not ever influenced by someone in the chat who thinks his opinion is gospel. I don't like what I see from DJ, but this is still a second year of his rebuild. If he does not improve next year, I'm done. And that's fair. I think a lot of guys have jumped the, but I don't want to say I jumped the gun, but they're more impatient like me, and they're like, the hell with the bad. I agree with you. No good. And then there's a lot of guys that are like, yo, give him a third year. We're going to give him a third year anyway. He's not going anywhere. He will be here next year. We're not drafting a quarterback. He will be here. I'll be shocked if we
he's going to be our starter next year. The only thing we may do, it's possible, is we bring in a backup with some credentials. And if Jones plays really bad the first half of the year, you could see a change. That I could see. I brought up a guy like Jacoby Brissett, for example. That's possible. I think he'll have a little bit more pressure from a potential backup next year, but they'll definitely give him at least half a season to figure it out.
Yeah. And I think we do need to bring up a legitimate backup in here because, Jones has, the first couple of years, he's gotten hurt. So I think we do need like a Jameis Winston or Jacoby Brissett or Josh Rosen. I mean, I'm all about bringing Josh Rosen as backup. I mean, I don't think that can hurt at all. Because if Josh Rosen never got the opportunity and he ended up actually being really good, he's young. I mean, if the Giants caught lightning in a bottle and that guy succeeded in our system, then you have your future quarterback. I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing in Josh Rosen here. He's not going to hurt anything being a backup. I don't think that's a bad idea either. You know,
I'd rather a more experienced guy, but I'm not going to cry if they do it. I wouldn't cry if they do it. He's obviously got upside.
Yeah. New York Giants, Brilly says Jeffrey Abbey, if DJ turns out to be good, go root for another team. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for me and everybody else is giving. Oh, God, Jeffrey's never liked him. I'm just pissed off at him because I just thought he'd be better. I don't know, man. Whatever. Richard Welch, man. Thanks so much, brother Brilly. Richard Welch. Welcome to the Dog Pound, sir. Yo, where are my Dog Pound members at? You welcome, Richard Welch, into the Dog Pound, man. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Jordan Renan. Brilly says also with the young guns saying don't give up on Jones. There was Dave Brown, Danny Cannell, and Collins before Eli. Every quarterback with a New York logo ain't good. I agree with Jordan Renan on something. How about that?
Yeah, Jordan, yeah. I mean, for me, he's got to prove he's good. We all hope he's good. We're fans. We see some promise, but yeah, he's definitely got to prove it. And you're never going to hear me say that I think he's ever going to be an elite quarterback because I don't think he'll ever be an elite quarterback. I think it's possible he could be a good quarterback if we get the right team around him. But I got to see him improve in a lot of areas, and I'm going to give him another year to do it.
Brandon Arrigo, Brilly, my man. Thank you, sir. He says, if we choose a quarterback this year or next, what do you like? I don't know any quarterbacks coming out next year.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about it right now because Brandon, I don't think we're taking a quarterback this year, and I don't want to even worry about 2022 because I hope Jones is the guy. And if he's not, then we'll dive into it in 2022. But I'm not even thinking about it right now.
There's only two quarterbacks I like in this draft. And I still am kind of skeptical about Justin Fields because I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. I am sold on Trevor Lawrence. He's going to the Jets. Justin Fields is going to the Jaguars. So, I mean, where we're picking, you're going to have your choice by a Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, maybe Zach Wilson. Maybe. Those are going to be your guys. I don't think Trey Lance would fall that far either. I don't really like Kyle Trask or Mac Jones, to be completely honest. So, to me, there was one quarterback I wanted in this draft class. It was Trevor Lawrence. Usually, every year, there's like one quarterback that I like. I don't like.
He'll be a Jet. He'll be a Jet.
Without it.
Yeah.
So, 2022, I don't know. If Jones has another bad year, then we'll really start discussing quarterbacks in 20.
Yeah, that's when you think about it.
Paul, man, thank you for the super chat. Really shotgun play call at our own 3-yard line during the Cards game defies Garrett as a play caller pretty much. It defines him. Yeah, I hate that shotgun. I hate the shotgun run. I don't – I just – that was a bad
he called a really bad game. I mean, that's all there is to it. Yeah, he's called a bad game.
He did. There's no question about that. It was just a terrible game. Bones, my man. Really, bro. We got to meet Bones.
Yes, we did. What's up, Bones?
My man. Says, what do you think of Devontae Smith from Alabama? I personally be a perfect fit for the Giants if they think they'll be smart enough to draft him. I actually like Jalen Waddle better. I know he's hurt. It was an ankle thing, so nothing serious. I actually like Waddle better, but there's nothing wrong with Devontae Smith. You give me either one of those Bama receivers, man, I'll be extremely happy.
Yeah, Devontae Smith's having a huge year. Yeah, I mean, again, depending on where we're picking, but yeah, he's definitely a guy that I've got my eye on as a potential prospect we could draft for sure.
Jamar Chase is another one, depending on where he goes. But remember, guys, you have free agency and the combine, which will tell you a lot. But either one of those Alabama receivers, Jamar Chase, those are the top 3 receivers on my board. I know a lot of guys like Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Minnesota's kind of been bad this year. So I don't know about that. But those 3 receivers are definitely guys I would take in the first round with our first pick. Jordan Renan, Brilly. If the team wasn't ready to take a quarterback in 2019, would it have made more sense to build a team and then draft a quarterback? It just makes little sense.
Jordan, why do you think we flipped out on draft night?
I was going to say, I don't think you're getting an argument from these 2 Italians on that one.
I mean, I'll be the first to say it, and I like a lot of things Dave Gettleman has done. I would not have drafted Daniel Jones, and it is. I thought Daniel Jones could be pretty good. I remember having to discuss. I say it all the time. I had a phone conversation for 3 hours with Rover 3 weeks before the draft. We looked over film. I thought he could be pretty good. I didn't think the New York Giants were in a situation to support him. And it was a rich defensive draft. So you're not going to get an argument from me. I would have built up the team. And it's why I would build up the team this year and not make the same mistake for everybody that wants to take a quarterback. I'd build up the team. And if Daniel Jones can't get it done, at least the guy you're bringing in has a support system to get the most out of his talent.
Great. Dylan, man, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly. Who'll be the best quarterback, Kyler, Jones, Joe, or Herbert? I love me some Kyler Murray, but I'm going to be honest. Justin Herbert is my favorite out of those four guys. I love his game. He's big, he's tall, he's mobile, wicked strong arm, accurate. Big Justin Herbert fan, man. I wanted the Giants to draft Justin Herbert. I love Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray's going to be a star, but Kyler Murray is more of a runner. You're going to see Kyler Murray's going to wear him down eventually. I think Herbert could have a 15-year career in the NFL. I don't know if Murray makes it that far. But I think Murray's a solid year, but he won't last as long. I love Justin Herbert. That's my pick there.
Yeah, I would and what you said about Kyler is what I believe. I think he could be a great quarterback, but for like 6 or 7 years, and then as his athleticism starts to fail him even a little bit, I think he will not be the same player. So long term, Herbert and Burrow to me are neck and neck, but Burrow had the injury this year, so I'd probably have Herbert number 1, Burrow 2, because I do think Burrow's really good. When I watch Burrow, I'm very impressed with Burrow. If he could recover from that injury, I'd probably have Kyler 3 and Jones 4.
Jordan, man, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly. Also for people saying, oh, Herbert has weapons. Okay, Philip Rivers had the same weapons last year and struggled. Weapons don't make a great quarterback. Listen, I'm going to say one thing about him, and I mentioned this before. I'm pretty sure it was against us. I saw Justin Herbert roll out of the pocket, buy time, and fire a ball 25 yards into the end zone on a perfect laser pass. I don't know if it was Keenan Allen. I don't remember who the receiver was. But I remember him making that throw and just saying, Daniel Jones can't do that. Daniel Jones can't make that throw. That is elite talent. We'll see what happens with Herbert. He has elite talent. He has everything that you want. I mean, hopefully he doesn't go down the same path as this quarterback. But there's a lot of Carson Wentz in him. Carson Wentz had all that before the ACL injury. Carson Wentz, 6'5", 230, mobile, strong-arm quarterback, and not as accurate as Herbert. But I
always said it when I first saw Wentz coming into the league. He always reminded me of like of Aaron Rodgers, a poor man's Aaron Rodgers, right. But not quite as good as him. But that type of quarterback. Herbert's definitely got a lot of talent. I'm definitely impressed, and we'll see when the NFL gets a book on him how he performs.
Right, Alejandro Galano, man, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the $50 dono. Brilly, my guy. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that very much. Stolen base sports card. Brilly. What up, Baddog and Chris? Is Jones still doubtful? I got to fill my class up here.
Yes. Yes, he is still doubtful. He's not. I don't think he's playing this week. Stolen base cards.
He is. My man, Mikey, number 1, Mike Zorn. Brilly says, good luck winning a Super Bowl without a top 12 quarterback, unless you got a legendary defense like the 15 Broncos. This isn't the 80 fellas. It's a good quarterbacks league right now. Mikey, I'm pouring a Diet Coke just for you right now.
Mike, I mean, I kind of agree with you, and I kind of don't. I mean, well, good luck winning a Super Bowl without a top 12 quarterback. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd agree with that. Although Nick Foles wasn't a top 12 quarterback. But, I don't think you need an elite quarterback, Mike. But I think you need an above average quarterback. I'll agree with that.
I agree. G-Man Sports, Brilly. How's your day been, Baddog Chris? I spent a lot of it shoveling, so it kind of sucked. It's good now, though. I'm hanging out with you guys and Chris. And we're talking Giants. We got over 600 people in here. So you guys, again, the amazing support, man. We really appreciate it once again. So thank you so much for being here, guys. Spend your Fridays. Really appreciate it. You know what to do. Hit that thumbs up. You ain't, hit that subscribe, ring the bell. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go into the description. Link to the Up Talkin Sports there. Just like to say again, if you're new to the channel, we do this show every week. We alternate channels. We also do every Giants game together and alternate channels. Sunday night, we'll be on Chris's channel to call the Browns and Giants game, which could be our season. Hope you guys will be there. Asia, what's going on, my lady? I see Asia's in the house. She just said, what's up, Bad Doggy Loon? I didn't see what's up, Sexy Tainah, but I'm sure it's coming.
Maybe on my channel, too, she'd say that.
Hey, you, the super chat, really, man, quickly looked nice, Tainah.
I'm impressed with that pick. I love the pick when the Knicks made it. We needed a shooter, 93% free throw shooter at Kentucky last year, and he's looked really good for the Knicks. He had 22 points when I turned it off. He may end up being our starting point guard. He's played really well for the Knicks. I've been impressed with quickly.
It'd be nice if the Knicks actually found lightning in a bottle themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Alejandro Galano, man, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, Merry Christmas. Bad Dog and Chris, I was trying to give 30 to each you guys, but I'm short 2 pennies. Send $49.99 in the first. Don't worry about the pennies, man. We appreciate it very much, man. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. Merry Christmas to you and the family, of course. I see. Is that it's hard to see. Is that
Merry Christmas,
yeah, I love it. I love the kids. My kid is 3. So this is going to be the first year that little Bad Dog really understands Christmas. And that's going to be a lot of fun when he sees, even though, you always say, well, if you're bad, Santa ain't bringing you presents. And it doesn't matter how bad he is and how much he ticks me off.
Merry Christmas, Alejandro, man. I hope you enjoy it, buddy.
Absolutely. Whoops. Why is that not showing up? What's going on?
You've got next up is
there it goes. It just wasn't going on. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. That was weird. Dire Giants fan, Brilly. We finished with a win the first round of the playoffs and get picked 23-27. We keep Gettleman. Where are you guys going? Your opinion? Number 1 receiver, number 2 corner, number 3 edge, number 4 linebacker, number 5 best player available. Thoughts?
I mean, it's the same answer as if I was picking 8 or 9 or 10. It all, I got to do a lot more research and I got to see where a lot of experts think these guys are going, but it's going to be, where need matches BPA, kind of like last year. Even though you definitely could argue Simmons may have been the BPA, Thomas was close enough, and I probably still would have had those tackles ahead of Simmons, but maybe a lot of people were arguing Simmons. Left tackle was so much of a need that he was, even if you thought Simmons was the BPA, it was close enough where you take the tackle. I mean, in terms of need, Diard, wherever we're picking, I think it's clearly wide receiver and corner, and maybe edge. I think those are our 3 biggest. I'm starting to lean wide receivers are biggest, but a lot of it's going to depend on what we do in free agency and where we're picking in the draft.
I completely agree. And honestly, if we're picking 23rd or 27th, I'm going best player available in a position that we need. That's what I would do at that point.
Yeah.
Jack Amya, Deshaun Watson for Saquon and Zeitler. You sign me up right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. Sign me up right now. I'll do that trade in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'll even throw in like a 3rd round pick. Just
be
a player to the Giants, please.
Quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson don't grow on trees.
No, I love Deshaun Watson. This is my guy, man. I'm big Deshaun Watson fan. More than Kyler Murray. So there you go. That tells you how much I like Deshaun Watson. Mike Francesa, brilliant with my Diet Coke. He says, if we lose out, I think Dave Gettleman and Garrett will be gone. I don't. I think Gettleman's coming back. Garrett,
we'll see, but I'm with you on that.
I think that Gettleman's coming back regardless. I think the team's improved enough. Then you'll see him back. Roldy, thank you for the super chat. Really. Bad Dog, you look at Herbert, you see he has the it factor. No, I see it. I mean, look at him in the pocket. You look at Jones. I mean, it's clear as day. Fans who don't see it is in denial. I want DJ to succeed. Roldy, you and I are in 100% agreement on that. And I think even Chris would agree with that.
Yeah, Herbert's a more talented quarterback. I agree with that.
And I agree. Here's the it factor. Like I said, I just go back to that throw against the Saints. And I'm like, Daniel Jones can't make that throw. At any point in his career, he'll never be able to make that throw. That's elite level quarterback. That's who you're supposed to. And again, I'm rooting against Daniel Jones. I dislike Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones, again, if he gets the mental, if he fixes his mental, all that stuff in the pocket, if he fixes it, I think he could still be a top 15, top 10 quarterback. I think he has the physical skills to do that. But it worries me because you can't not coach instincts, man. He either has that or he don't. There's no coaching instinct. You can tell him to do this and do that. But when it's in his head, he's like, oh, I got to make the throw. No matter amount of coaching, he's always going to revert back to his instincts. He's got bad instincts. I don't like them. I think Justin Herbert has good instincts. And Justin Herbert's just better. That's what it is. And I'll Fisk. Fisk is my guy. But when he made that video saying Daniel Jones is better than Herbert, I just stop.
Yeah, I know. Herbert's really good. Really good.
David, thank you for the super chat. Really, the Nets are the real basketball team in New York, Tainah. Sorry.
David, listen. I lived in Brooklyn for about 2.5 years, David. I could count on one hand how many times I saw a Brooklyn Nets hat. I saw tons of New York Knicks shirts, jerseys, hats. No. Knicks will always be New York's team. The Nets could win 20 championships in a row. The Knicks are still New York's team.
I was going to say the same thing, Chris. And the Nets could win a bunch of championships. It never happened. You go to the Barclays Center, what do you hear? You hear chants, let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Yeah. It's Knicks fans that can't afford the prices at Madison Square Garden, so they go to the
I'm
Barclays
going to
Center.
go watch this game. That's what I'm going to watch.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the year, you probably could.
Yeah.
I remember
Hopefully
saying
not.
that day a couple of years ago, we were going to go, me and DWG were going to go down and do the Lakers and Knicks, but he couldn't make it. We were going to meet you over there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Mike Francesa, Mike Zorn, number one. Brilly. By the way, KD is back. I'm staying humble, but the Nets are coming. We have extreme depth in snipers 1 through 12. Just got to get some chemistry, and we're contenders.
So Mike's a Nets fan?
He is now. But listen.
Apparently he's a Nets fan. But no, I mean, the Nets are really good. Nets are one of the probably top 2 or 3 teams in the East right now going into the year. I agree with that.
I agree. They have the talent. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Ryan Yankovic, thank you for the super chat. Ryan, Brilly, can Giants D take down the run on the Browns? FC.
What's wrong with Santa? I love Santa.
We must on it at some point.
Yeah. Can they take down the? Could they? Yeah. Do I? Here's. And I looked at the weather report. It's not supposed to be snow, but it is going to be cold. That'll be the Giants' best friend in this game with our limited secondary. We need windy conditions. We want it to be as cold as possible. You don't want Baker Mayfield to be able to drop back and throw the ball 40 times. Even though that's their strength, because Bradbury's out, I think we're limited in our secondary. It's going to be tough to stop the run. Giants are going to have to stack the box. They got a great offensive line. Nick Chubb's a great running back. That'll decide whether or not we have a chance to win this game. We have to stop the run, and hopefully the conditions aren't favorable to throw the football.
I completely agree. If the Giants have a chance, they got to shut down the run and make Baker throw the ball every time. We got to get them in 3rd and long. That is what we have to do. I mean, that's conducive to any game, but especially Cleveland, they succeed because of the run. And you got to put Baker Mayfield in passing situations. There's no doubt about that. Now, Baker's played better this year because of the run, but Baker can still turn the ball over if you get pressure on him. And I like Baker, but
He's definitely not allergic to turnovers.
And he's not allergic to getting sacked. I mean, he can move. He's elusive, but he's not as quick as Kyler Murray. He's moved Russell Wilson, and we got to Russell Wilson a bunch. So I think that we can get to Baker. And if we're going to get to Baker, we got to do what we did against Seattle. We stopped the run and got to Russell Wilson. We got to do the same thing to Baker Mayfield. And I think we definitely have a chance. Joey, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says Colt McCoy is better than Danny Dimes. Don't at me.
That I'm going to disagree with.
I can't agree with it.
A banged up Daniel Jones. And how are you going to? And how is he going to call him Danny Dimes in the same sentence when he's going to tell me that Colt McCoy is better?
I can't.
You can't be giving a quarterback nicknames that's not better than Colt McCoy.
I can't.
But I'm going to disagree with you on that. I'll at you all day on that one.
Nikki Sapp, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, hey guys, starting and talking. It's already taken off. So excited. I don't even know what the hell TikTok is. I do and I don't because I'm old and it's lucky I can use YouTube. He said, decided why not to do the same on YouTube. Just posted my first one. Finally posted to YouTube. Both of you are the man. Go Giants. Well, if I can say it for Chris, Nikki, how can I be the man? How can the man be the man?
Nikki's the man. I've had Nicky on my channel before. He's awesome. Glad you're starting a YouTube channel, man. That's awesome, man.
The YouTube channels are great, man. Always wish you nothing but the best. And it's always good to have more Giant content creators, the better. Derek, thank you for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it, brother. Brilly, my good man. And JDM, Brilly, says Chris. I'm the nightmare. Look at the thumbnail. Chris, I'm the nightmare that keeps you up at night. That's a thing of beauty right there. I think that's a space after Charles Oakley ripped him a new one. Anytime
James Dolan talks, that's how I look at my TV. I can't stand James Dolan. He is the worst owner in all sports.
Every time I hear him talk, I punch the air and hope that he runs into the camera and he leaves MSG. That's one can hope. But
as a Mets fan, I finally got my wish. We got a new owner. Hopefully the Knicks get one soon too, because I can't stand that guy.
I mean, Cohen's got a lot of money. Let him buy the Knicks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. He's got $14 billion.
right. So buy the Knicks. I mean, what the hell? Just take it over. Just offer Dolan some stupid amount and get him the hell out of there. You make it back. You make the Knicks good, man. Everybody's going to come there. We all know that. Couldn't get a seat in Madison Square Garden in the entire decade of the 90s.
Knicks are the most popular team. I say it all the time. When the Knicks are good, there's nobody bigger in New York. They're that big. Like the Yankees obviously have the prestige but they split fans with the Mets. Like the Knicks, everybody's a Knicks fan. So to me, the Knicks, when they're good, there's nobody bigger in New York.
I agree. I mean, the 90s Knicks were – I still watch those games. There was not – I'm telling you, I wasn't there. But there's nothing like Madison Square Garden when the Knicks are good. I mean, you go back and watch that 92 series against the Bulls, they took them to 7 games. They had no business. Everyone was saying they're going to get swept. Just hearing that crowd. Like, there's one play in Game 4 where there's like a fast break. Jared Wilkins is up ahead of the field or up everybody in the court, and he gets fouled and he lays it in. And you hear the whistle and the crowd is silent, and then the ball goes in and the freaking crowd explodes. It gives me chills every time.
I say it all the time, man. The LJ, the optics from the LJ 4-point play when the whole crowd stands up at the same time and explodes, like that's I miss those days as a Knicks fan. I hope we get them back soon.
The last time we were really good was 2000. Well, that was 99, but 2000 was it's been forever.
Yeah, I mean, we had that one year in like 13 with Melo, but outside of that, it's been horrible.
Yeah, we won 54 games. Actually, won the Atlantic Conference that year. It's the first time since '94 that they'd won that. And then disappointingly, lost to the Pacers in the second round. They should have beat the Pacers. Got to play the Heat. That's what I wanted to see. Melo versus LeBron.
Oh,
never happened.
Roy Hibbert killed us in that series. Roy Hibbert and Paul George killed us in that series.
Roy Hibbert especially. And Tyson Chandler, I think he won Defensive Player of the Year. He was up there for Defensive Player of the Year.
He did. No, he won it. He won it. Yeah.
And they never could stop him. And I loved Hibbert because he played for Georgetown. But I was like, why did the Knicks get Hibbert? But yeah, that was the last time they were actually any good. After that, they've been awful. Mike Francesa, Mikey's on. Brilliant. Parcells and I warned you about Dolan years ago. I like Francesa, those Parcells. Yeah. He knows everybody. He's Mike Zorn. I mean, he's Mike Dupp. Mike Dupp is my favorite, actually. Mike Dupp. Zorn, Tank Mush. He's got a bunch of them. Nick the Wick, Brilly. Look at that Jabril Peppers thumbnail. He says, show the game, let's win Sunday. Stand up. I'm gonna say
it for the game, Nick the Wick, man, but I cannot wait. I'm gonna bring the energy. I know a lot of Giants fans going to that game are gonna be down and out, but I'm gonna bring the energy. We're gonna bring the energy, and we're gonna try to propel us to a victory.
They won't be down and out when they're in that stream. We'll get that's Mike Francesa again, Brilly, number one. So, but you don't have a job. I'm not surprised. You guy's a jerk. You waited on the phone for an hour. And don't even get through. That's the funny thing. You don't even get through, even though we hear the call. But he says, sorry, guys, but Gen Z don't like the Knicks anymore. Well, I'm Gen X. I still like the Knicks.
Gen Z will like the Knicks when they're good again. They'll forget about Brooklyn real quick. Believe me.
Yeah. Roldy, they have a super chat. Brilly. By the way, Cobb Pizzle, in the words of DMX and Belly, I don't even remember that movie. I remember the soundtrack. He said, that's her man. That's her man. Dude is on some wild shit.
Yeah, he's definitely Cobb Pizzle definitely he's out there a little bit. He's definitely out there. He's a character, to say the least.
That's why I like having him on the channel. It's great.
It's
good stuff. It's good stuff for sure.
Nixon, Albert says Knicks are the most valuable team, and they're so bad right now. Yeah, well, I think they are. They though. I know they're the most valuable team in the NBA. I don't know if they're the most valuable team in all sports.
No,
maybe they are.
The Cowboys are.
Cowboys are, right?
Yankees.
Yeah, but it's what it is, Baddog. It's the tourist money. Because the Knicks are right in the heart of
Manhattan.
The Mecca, right? It's right in the heart of Manhattan. Everybody always says you got to go to the world's most famous arena, and that's why the Knicks will always sell out, and they'll always make tons of money on the secondary market because people from Paris are coming to New York, and they say, we got to go to a Knicks game. We've got to go to Madison Square Garden, And that's why no matter how bad the Knicks are, you always have to pay an arm and a leg.
If you have been to Clyde's,
Yes, I have once.
is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's
Is
good.
it-
They got a basketball hoop in there too. You can shoot.
I've seen like videos and stuff of him being there. I mean, he seems awesome. But I haven't been to Clyde's, so I was just curious if it was any good because
It's not that close to the Garden, which is kind of annoying. When I go to a Knicks game, I usually go to either Stouts, which is probably my favorite bar in Manhattan. It's like 3 blocks away from the Garden. And then you got Mustang Harry's, which is right there. Those are both really good sports bars. But yeah, I've been to Clyde's. It's pretty far from the Garden.
I've been to Stouts a few times myself.
I love Stouts.
When we go down, actually, I haven't been to Manhattan for forever. But the last few times I went down there, it was to go see Brock plays. And that's what I've been down there for. So, and I always take the bus. I'm not trying to drive around Manhattan. I'm not trying to do that. I want to enjoy myself when I'm there. So I ain't trying to do that. Thanks at Clyde is pretty good. I got to get down there. I've never.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Lakers versus Raptors for the NBA Finals. Lakers will be there again. I'll be surprised if they're not. Laker dog will be back on Tuesday. The start of the season already.
Lakers are the clear cut favorite, in my opinion, to win this year. There's no doubt about it.
I think they got to, without a doubt. Jesse says Gallman best trade as he stays healthy. Ability always beats talent.
I would say his best trade is he runs hard. He runs hard. He finishes runs. That's the type of runner, whether it's him or whether it's somebody else, that I think complements Saquon Barkley very well. But I've loved the way that he's run this year. He runs really hard, Wayne Gallman. But yeah, he stayed healthy. He stayed healthy for sure.
Yeah. I completely agree. And that, like I said, I always, and then somebody was saying to me, I remember some guys like, "Oh, you just started saying he ran like a Ahmad Bradshaw." I'm like, yeah, because you were on my channel in 2016. BS. Get off, or 2017. It's like, get off me. You don't know what I said. You weren't around in 2017. So I said that since day one. That he ran like, I'm not saying he is Ahmad Bradshaw, but I always said he finishes his runs like Ahmad Bradshaw, because Ahmad Bradshaw was not a big guy. He wasn't small, but he wasn't tall.
He was like 5'8", right?
Right, 5'8", 5'9", 200 pounds. And I've seen Ahmad Bradshaw close. They're jacked. But NFL size, 5'9", 200 is not big. Gallman is about 200, 205, and he's like 6 foot, so he's not huge. But he runs like somebody the size of Saquon Barkley.
He runs like a guy playing for a contract.
Well, that's true. That's true. And again, I would give Gallman a contract, but I don't want to give him a fortune either. So
there's only so much money we got.
Right. Like I said, if you can get him for about $4 million a year, I'm in. I don't want to be giving him $7 million a year.
Can't do it
unless you plan on getting rid of Barkley. I'm not out of here. Rudy, Brilly, man. Thank you for the super chases. All we need to do is score more than the other team. That's good enough.
I mean, technically, Rudy's right. I mean, it was short, it was sweet, it was simple. He didn't have to dive into stuff in the run and special teams, which we didn't talk about. By the way, the special teams the last 3 weeks have been pathetic. We haven't talked enough about that, but in this game, once again, obviously the fumble by Lewis when he should have kneeled it 2 yards deep, and Jabril Peppers from the 6-yard line, he calls for like 3 fair catches.
You can't do that.
Like, come on, man. And our punt coverage wasn't good in this game either. The special teams have been pathetic the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, since the bye, it's been really bad. And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, this was our great unit last year, and up until the bye, it was really good this year. I mean, Gano still kills it. But even Dixon had a couple bad punts. And like you said, the punt coverage is terrible. Yeah. What the hell the deal is. And yeah, Peppers, listen, you don't catch the ball there. You have to let it bounce. If they make a play, they make a play. But you can't keep catching the ball at the 6-yard line. You hope it bounces. And, you decoy him. You call for a catch. You stand there, and then you get the hell out of the way because they can't hit you. That way they can't get the ball. Let's hope it bounces into the end zone. But you put your team in a bad spot when you catch it there. You're not supposed to.
It's like a 15-yard penalty. I mean, if it goes into the end zone, you'd start at the 20.
Yep. And that's huge because field position means a lot when you have a hampered quarterback and your offense isn't that good.
Yeah.
Anthony Ramirez. Really, man. Thank you for the super chat. He says, can't wait for that Saquon Gallman duo next year. Well,
We'll see. We'll see if Gallman's back. I'd love to have him back. It's all going to depend on what interest he gets on the market. But if Gallman does leave, I think the Giants have to draft a running back. I think they need to get a guy in here that could play the way that Gallman could play. They need that hard-nosed runner.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need a backup anyway.
Yeah.
Alfred Morris ain't going to be here probably, and Devontae Freeman probably ain't going to be here. They're going to have to sign somebody. I don't know. These guys aren't on contracts, so it's not like they have a guy.
Deion Lewis won't be here, I don't think, either.
Deion Lewis, probably not. Was he a one-year guy?
Yeah, 1 year.
So all those guys are like on the last year of the contract.
Yeah, I think they'll end up drafting a running back this year, and they might bring Gallman back, but it's going to depend on the money.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Kevin Zank says Cody Core under. Yeah, good call. Cody Core is really, really good on coverage.
Cody Core was one of my favorite players on last year's team, and it was just all because of his special teams contributions. He didn't really do much in terms of catching the football, but as a gunner last year for the Giants, he was fantastic. Anytime we pinned the ball down inside the 5-yard line, it was Cody Core.
Yeah, absolutely. Bark Nasty says if it was up to Baddog, you wouldn't pay anyone. Well, that's incorrect. I've said we should pay Leonard Williams. I also said that we should give Gallman a contract, but this team stinks. So yeah, guys that don't produce, I'm not giving them $20 million a year.
You can't pay everybody.
Right.
The fans want to pay everybody, but if you only have $40, $45, $50 million, and that's after making some cuts, and people say, "Oh, I want to bring in a wide receiver. I want to do that." Well, if you want to do that, you can't keep everybody. You just can't. You got to pick and choose who you bring back.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, and if our high-priced positions aren't panning out, I'm definitely not paying them.
Yeah.
But Leonard Williams, I said, yeah, I think we should pay Leonard, and I think that they should pay Gallman, but I'm not ready to give Barkley or Jones a second contract. That's for sure. I'm definitely not ready to.
Not yet. That's for damn sure. Not yet.
Mark Edelman, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says, guys, play GM for a second. Wouldn't you guys convince Mara to lose that Redskins game for a play that we have been looking for since Strahan and contend right away? What do you think he would say? He would say no. But, yeah, I have come out and said that I actually regret winning that game against Washington last year. I do. I'm not going to root for us to lose, but hindsight being 2020, yeah, I wish we lost and got Chase Young. I'm not going to lie. I'm a defensive guy. So
I mean, you could definitely say that as a fan that obviously you could understand the logic behind getting to pick earlier, but the players are never going to intentionally lose. They're playing for jobs. The head coach is never going to intentionally lose. Sherman needed that win to potentially keep his job. And he still didn't keep his job. So, but that's just not going to happen. You're not going to get the team to go out there and intentionally lose a football game. So that's why tanking doesn't really exist in the NFL outside of, maybe a team doing everything they can from the upper management standpoint. And like the Jets did, they trade away everybody and maybe from that sense, but the players and the coach are never going to intentionally lose football games.
No, I have to show this because this is great. This is one of my favorite troll comments I've ever seen here. And I'm going to tell you why. I've honestly unsubscribed for Baddog and I'm happy. Well, you have a SpongeBob emoji or a thumbnail, so I really don't give a damn. I mean, grow up. And you're here anyway. So thank you for the view. Thank you for watching the ad to get to the channel. And as long as you keep watching, I don't care if you're unsubscribed or not. Thank you for playing. You lose. Hold my beer. Ryan Yankovic, thank you for the super chat. Really brilliant. What a dumb comment. I don't subscribe, but I'm going to watch every one of your videos. Okay. I'm unsubscribed and I'm happy. Then why are you here? This is the dumbest thing. I've unsubscribed and I'm happy, but I have to come back and watch. I can't help myself.
Yeah, you get people in every stream that try to, come at you a little bit. It happens. It is what it is.
It's just funny. I'm happy that I unsubscribed. Well, why are you here then? If you unsubscribe and you're happy, you're obviously happy that you don't get my notifications and that you're not watching my videos. You've probably been here for the whole hour and 30 minutes you've been live. Thank you. Ryan Brilly says Giants strip Chubb 1 pick 6 and give. I'm sorry. Giants strip Chubb 1 pick 6 and give me the G-Man a fire to light up the Browns. Only reason the Ravens game is close because the quarterback lost his feet. Giants strip Chubb. Okay. Giants are stripping Chubb. pick six. Giant strip. Okay. They're stripping Chubb. He's going to fumble. And give the G-men offense a fire to light up the Browns. Only reason the Ravens game is close is because the quarterback lost his feet. Took me a little bit to decipher that.
+2 in the turnover differential at the end of the day, and we got a chance to win this game.
Yeah.
Got to be +2 or better.
There's no doubt about it. Dire Giants fan, brilliant, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If we want to keep this old line of defense together, how do we sign a top-tier edge? Well, we got some cap space. And the old line on the rookie contracts. So
we're not. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if we sign a top-tier edge. Because Williams is going to – Williams doesn't come back maybe, but Williams is going to cost like $17, $18 million. And then you got to use some money potentially to bring back Alvin Tomlinson, Logan Bryant. I'd be surprised if we signed a top-tier edge. I wouldn't be against it, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. But, I mean, that's the thing. The offensive line is they just signed Gates to a cheap deal. He's there for the next 2 years. These rookies that'll be there for 3 more years. So you really don't – if these guys pan out, you don't have to pay the offensive line. Will Hernandez will be coming up here in a couple years, but you really don't. I mean, you could always draft somebody to replace Will Hernandez. So you don't really have to pay the O-line, but if you want to pay Leo, you're going to have to pay him this year. Tomlinson is another one. Bradbury, Martinez are here for the next 3 years. And then you got McKinney, Peppers. They're going to have to pay Peppers. I would imagine they're going to. And then other than that, I mean, I really don't know. But
Ingram, but we're probably not paying him. And then Barkley. Barkley's the other one that's a possibility. So
yeah, we'll see what I mean, again, 2021 is going to tell us a lot.
The other thing, a big decision the Giants are going to have going into this season before it starts is deciding whether or not to extend Barkley on the 5th year of that rookie option. And some people may say you shouldn't do that. I actually think you should, because if you do and you decide at the end of the year you want to trade him, it gives you more value. He's got 1 more year on a pretty cost-effective deal, and if you don't want to keep him here, that's kind of a bargaining chip to trade to a team. You get to have him. You don't have to pay him $20 million yet for the first year or whatever it's going to cost on a per year basis. So I think going into the year, I think Barkley's too talented of a player not to extend on the rookie deal. And then if he has an unbelievable year, well, then you have the option to extend him, to a second contract, or you have the flexibility to trade him.
Yeah, that's for sure. Mark Gettleman, thank you for the super chat. Really, really. Very rare you get a top-tier edge in free agency. It's true. It's true. There's not a lot of them out.
I'm trying to think of a circumstance where somebody did. Obviously, Mac was a trade. I'm trying to think of a
Ngakoue.
Ngakoue's played well. That was a trade, though, right? I mean, it was like a tag and trade. Right?
They haven't signed him yet.
Yeah, they haven't signed him. It's hard. It's definitely hard to find, and especially in today's day and age, teams seem to be tagging these guys before they trade them. You usually have to give up something to get them.
Yep. Joshua Roscoe, Brilly says we love Shaq Barrett. Don't know if we cap though. Barrett's a guy that they've talked about.
Man, he's going to cost you like $20 million, but yeah, he's definitely talented. He's got like 9 sacks this year. Obviously, last year he had like 20. Really good player.
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if they did sign Leonard Williams, he's going to cost some money. But, man, that defensive line is so good. If you just add that edge rusher that gets you 12, 16 sacks, just think about how good they play off each other. You know what I mean? If you have that one really big, impactful edge rusher, not that Khalil Mack's out there, but like an Ingram, a Melvin Ingram, like a TJ Watt, like a Yannick Ngakoue.
Dupree. But Dupree got hurt. Yeah, I mean, it's an option if they have the money to be able to do it. The other question you're going to have to ask yourself, everybody brings up cutting Zeitler, but he's our surest offensive lineman right now for an offensive line that has ups and downs. So if you don't cut Zeitler, you're not even going to have the opportunity to sign an edge rusher like that if you bring back Leonard Williams. So that's the other thing the Giants are going to have to ask themselves. Do you want to get rid of Zeitler? Do you believe in Lemieux and Hernandez to be full-time starters?
What about Solder, though? They'll save money there?
They'll save 10.
They cut.
So right now they've got about $20 million in cap. That's about what they've got based on –
right?
Tate saves you 6. Solder would save you 10 if you cut him after June 1st. So that's $36 million now you got to play with. If you're and there's all nobody knows exactly what the cap's going to be, but it's estimates because of the virus. They're estimating it's going to dip. Yeah. And then if you're able to trade Zeitler, you save another 14, you bump it up to 50. There's some small moves they can make as well. So there's ways they could get the cap up, but Zeitler's going to be a big question mark this offseason.
I agree. Jake, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, thoughts on Julian Love playing cornerback too? I mean, it happened.
I think he's gonna this week. From what I saw, I think Julian Love is gonna this week. They said they're trying him out at the cornerback too this week with obviously with Bradbury going down. So yeah. I think he's gonna get an opportunity to play.
We're gonna get to see a lot of McKinney this week too, I would imagine, at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Timothy, thank you for the super chat. Really, I love our future with Judge, but Getty's got to go. We have no talent down the stretch due to injury. Plus, McCoy's a backup is awful. It's discouraging. Yeah, I wish we had a better backup. He can lie. Chris Winston is out.
I get it, but I can't blame them for not bringing in a more credible backup this year. One, they tried to use their cap space as best they could to improve this team, and they didn't want to spend the type of money that it would cost to bring in a guy like Mariota as a backup. And two, Baddog, if we're being real going into the year, is it really smart to bring in a guy like Mariota to be the backup for Daniel Jones in his second year? We all knew Jones was going to struggle the first 4 or 5 weeks, and the fan base, if you had Mariota backing him up, would have been, we got to put Mariota in there.
No, it makes sense.
So I think this year, I would have brought in a guy like McCoy as well. Next year, different story.
I mean, it makes sense. I understand what you're saying, for sure. Yeah. And it makes sense to bring one in this year, no doubt. McCoy was here for 1 year anyway, so they're going to have to bring somebody in here.
Yeah.
E-Man, really, two AFC East teams making the playoffs, and neither is New England. 2020 is one hell of a year. By the way, good luck against Cleveland. That's still very weird to say. The Bills are my pick to win that division. I think the Bills are a lot of people's pick to win the division. But Miami, they are my sleeper in the AFC. So I feel pretty good. Still don't count it out.
Bills are awesome.
I'm not counting New England out until they're eliminated.
Can't do it.
Never. Our Giants fan, Brilly. Appreciate him, man. This is exactly what I'm saying, Baddog. Have an amazing edge would be a freaking wet dream, to be honest. No, it would be. It would be. Wet dreams are good, too. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. That's why you lose that 15th game and get young. I mean, listen, yeah, like I said, hindsight's 2020, and I understand. But like Chris said, Pat Shurmur's playing for his job, man. Pat Shurmur ain't going out going,
there is no – that's fantasy land, Baddog. It is. See, we could say as fans, and I always understand late in the season when you're out of it, fans saying, I could understand fans rooting to lose. If the season's completely over and you have an opportunity to get a guy like Chase Young. But there is no way in hell any head coach is going to go out there and try to lose a football game because they lose their jobs when that happens. If Shurmur lost his job, and obviously would have lost that game, he would have definitely lost his job. But he's trying to keep his job. Teams are never going to intentionally lose football games.
No, I completely agree. You're not going to get out there and just give it up. It's gonna happen. They're professional athletes. They're competitive, and they don't want to be embarrassed either. So you'd have to get all the players to decide, yep, you know what, we're going to blow that. And by then, a lot of guys are either playing for their job or they're playing for the next contract. They're looking, so they're not going to sit.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. The players on the team they know a lot of them aren't like I know he was off the team by then, but a guy like Janoris Jenkins, for example, a veteran that could potentially be looking for another contract the following year. Players like that, yeah,
absolutely. Deception. Thank you for the super chat. Really. Who's your favorite rookie from this class so far? Chris, you start with that one.
Well, we haven't seen McKinney. It's either Holmes or Darnay Holmes or Andrew Thomas for me. I'm a Thomas guy. I know last week he didn't look that good, but the 4 or 5 weeks before that, he definitely looked like he was turning the corner. I'm a big fan of Andrew Thomas. I'll go Andrew Thomas.
What about the entire NFL?
Oh, the entire NFL?
I'm just asking. I don't know if that was his question.
Yeah. Well, I'll name some rookies that I like. Not, obviously quarterbacks is what everybody's always going to pick. Herbert is obviously great, but Justin Jefferson's a really exciting player. I'll tell you what, I hate Washington, so I don't like these players because they're on Washington. But Chase Young is a freak. He's definitely exciting to watch. Gibson, the running back there too, is a really good running back. He's a fun running back to watch. Antonio Gibson on Washington, who's banged up right now. Yeah, those are some names I would throw out there. I even like, even though he hasn't been used that much, Devin Duvernay is another guy I really like to watch whenever I turn on Baltimore. He's an explosive guy with the kick returns. He's got a lot of speed. There's a lot of rookies, but I guess I would go, maybe a Clyde Edwards-Helaire is another one, but obviously I'd go with like a Herbert. If I had to pick one.
Yeah, but the Giants, I really like Jay Crowder, man. I mean, Jay Crowder, Mr. Irrelevant. Every time he's in there, it seems like he's making something happen. So, I mean, that's been a lot of fun to see the Cam Browns, the Carter Coughlin getting some time. Carter Coughlin's been making some plays. I love seeing the guys at the end of the draft actually produce, because when you're a GM, that's what you get those guys, you hit on those guys, then you're really, really, really doing your job. Obviously, McKinney was my favorite pick. We haven't seen McKinney at all. But I like those guys. And of course, Darnay Holmes has been really good too. So I'm with Chris. I think Herbert's probably my favorite out of the NFL as far as rookie class goes, but Chase Claypool's the freaking man.
Claypool, I should not have forgotten him. He's
just, God, there's another guy we could have had.
Claypool's really good.
Jesus. Our ENA we got Sam. He freaking loved Claypool, and I know it's going to be breaking any Giants fan that loved Claypool. It's going to be breaking the heart. Of course, he's got Big Ben, and he's got a Juju Smith-Schuster on the other side of him, and they got a great team in Pittsburgh. You don't know if Claypool would have produced the same for the Giants that he is for Pittsburgh. He went to a really good team, so sometimes that doesn't work out, But yeah, Claypool's fun to watch. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Jesse says Justin Jefferson over Claypool. They're both really good.
Jefferson this year he's like top 5 receiver good this year. That's how good he's been with Minnesota. But, and that's pretty impressive. Now, granted, it seems like receivers always do well there. Maybe it's the scheme, whatever. But Justin Jefferson's been fantastic. And I'm ecstatic that the Eagles didn't pick him.
Yeah. I'm glad because Philly 500 said, I don't want Justin Jefferson. Yes! That's my favorite thing. Well, then it says 527 people in there. Hit that damn like button. That's right. So please hit the thumbs up button. It does about the stream. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe, ring the bell. More importantly, in the description, link to the Entertainment Talking Sports channel's there. If you just tuned in, never saw this show, we do it every week. Alternate channel. So we also call every Giants game together. We alternate channels for that too. Sunday night we'll be over on Chris's channel calling the Browns and Giants. Thank you all for spending your Friday night with us. We really, really do appreciate it. The Giants season hangs in the balance. Regardless of what happened this year or what happens from this point on, at least we had meaningful football in December. It has been a long time since we played meaningful football. We had a 4-game winning streak. We were in first place for a couple of weeks. We could still be in first place if we get this W this week and we'll loses. We could be back at first. So we're not out of it. It's obviously the cards that the odds are stacked against us. We got dealt a pretty crappy hand, but sometimes you got to bluff your way through a hand, and maybe we can bluff our way through another one like we did.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
No. I was just gonna say to piggyback off what you initially said there. At the beginning of the year, if you would have told me we were going to be playing meaningful football in December, I would have been ecstatic about that. And I think that's important for the growth of a football team, whether or not we make the playoffs. It's a rebuilding year. Obviously, when you're in the moment, you get really let down when you lose those games because you're playing for the playoffs and you want to win those games. But I think at the end of the year, we'll look back at it and we'll say, yeah, it was important to even have the opportunity to play meaningful games in December. And I think it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. J.M. Zobrian. Thank you for the super chat. Really, Cam Brown and Tay Crowder. Oh yeah, I love those young linebackers that we draft.
Tay Crowder's a good one. Tay Crowder's a good one because he's been pretty productive for this team when given the opportunity. Tay Crowder's a good one.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like I said, all those guys. I mean, Cam Brown, they've all made plays. I mean, they're pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Not a young linebacker talent, no elite talent. But if those guys are good enough and you're winning with your front four, think about it, the 2007 Giants didn't have the best linebacking crew. They had good ones, but that front was devastating. Same thing in 2011. It was really our defensive line, not so much the linebackers. So you get pressure with your front four, you're doing, that's when you can drop 7 in coverage. You don't need a blitz. That helps.
Right.
Giants fan. Really, my man, really appreciate it. Says we traded a 3rd and 5th for Leo, which is what round Claypool went in. Which option are taken in hindsight?
I mean, was Claypool? I guess he would have been available with our 3rd. Yeah, he would have been, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm happy with Leonard Williams. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess obviously we would have liked Claypool there with the 3rd round pick, but who knows if we would have even taken a wide receiver? I mean, the Giants showed in the draft they didn't take a wide receiver, so we'll never know. I guess I would take Claypool. He's on the rookie contract, but they may have not even taken him had we had that 3rd round pick.
I was thinking even the Giants should have taken him over Xavier McKinney at this point. He's been so damn good. Abe Froman, really brilliant. Sausage King of Chicago. Is that Ben McAdoo on his thumbnail?
That is.
Wow. Ben McAdoo. He says Lemieux got the job due to COVID, never gave it back. This is true.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Hernandez hasn't gotten a chance to jump back in there and play because he played decently when he's been given the opportunity since. But I'm still I like Lemieux. It definitely is a long-term guy, and I hope he can continue to grow. He's still very questionable in pass protection when I watch the games. He definitely gets beat in pass protection, but I like Shane Lemieux. I think he could be a good part of this team. I'm still not completely confident in letting Zeitler go right now. I don't know if I have full faith in those guys to be the guards next year going into the season.
I mean, Lemieux is a 5th round pick. Zeitler brings veteran leadership to that line. I think that you do need a veteran in there. We obviously lost Nate Solder this year, and although Solder really hadn't produced well at the left tackle, he probably could have really been a really good role model or, somebody to go to for Andrew Thomas. It would have been for Andrew Thomas to go to that veteran and be able to get his game better and learn from Nate Solder. So that's something, that Nate Solder does bring to the team that we really don't have outside of Zeitler. Cam Fleming's not a guy you're going to. So, yeah, I think that, if you're going to keep a veteran on this team, it probably should be Zeitler because that offensive line is extremely young, and that is a veteran that can tie it together. And he has played well again. It's not like he's fallen off. So if we're going to keep a guy, I would keep Zeitler. I'd cut Tate. I'd cut Solder, and then look at a couple other places. That saves us $16 million there. Maybe Zeitler is worth here for, the remainder of his contract.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. It is a tough decision.
And Gettleman likes his linemen, so if he's going to keep those, it probably would be him. Solder's probably not. Solder might even retire. Solder's hinted at retirement.
I hope he retires because we'd save even more money.
So that's definitely a possibility. Josh, I mean, he's mentioned. I read something like he was, enjoying time with his family. He said he definitely feels like he could still play at a high level.
Now I'm not sure how that works if he retires. I'm assuming he wouldn't get anything.
He doesn't.
But if you're Solder, why wouldn't you force the Giants to cut you and so you make some money?
I mean, he could.
I'm just thinking, like, if I was in his shoes, you're talking $8-9 million. Like, that's a lot of money. But maybe he will just retire. I hope so.
Maybe he's just like, I don't need the money. I made enough, and I'm not going to be a dick like Albert Bell was. Albert Bell never played again, but he would not retire, so Baltimore had to pay him every penny like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Joshua, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly says Colts had an insanely good draft, and they didn't even have a first rounder. Pittman, Taylor, Blackman. Colts have drafted very, very well the last couple of seasons.
Colts got a great future there. I love Reich. I love the way they built the line. They definitely got good young weapons. It's going to come down to whether or not Eason's going to be the quarterback or whether or not they got to bring another one in. But outside of the quarterback, they've got pretty much everything you need. They got a coach. The defense is good. They've got a really good offensive line. They got good young weapons. The Colts have done a great job building that football team.
Ray W., what's going on? I'm sure your Bama Crimson Tide will wipe the floor with the Florida Gators. I don't think that's going to be even close. I think that I wish it was Georgia every better game. I think Alabama will steamroll Florida. And Josh Rotondo says, "Sup, Baddog, love the content." See, there's a guy that's happy he subscribed to Baddog. So thank you, man.
That's always good when you get some happy guys.
Yeah,
you know what it is, bad. You know what I learned on YouTube, Baddog? You have some people, I feel, they just literally just come in to try to get reactions, and they may even like the content. They'll just say it to try to get you revved up. So I've learned that too, Baddog. You get that on
I
YouTube.
didn't get really revved up. I just found it ironic that a guy says
I'm not saying that you, but I'm just saying they try to do it to get not just you, anybody revved up. That's what they do.
No, that's true. Well, I always say, if you're, I don't know what else to say. I always say if somebody comes on here and they just got nothing to say, just want to come here and troll them, like you're mad at your own life. You're not mad at me. I don't know you. Yeah. I didn't go to your house to kick your dog. So, I know you're not mad at me. I didn't do anything to you. So obviously you mad at yourself. That's usually what it is. Because if you're happy and you're doing something, I'm not going to go, well, I'm just going to go in and just try to get somebody.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let
him have fun. Let him have fun.
It comes into the territory,
man.
Yeah. Hey, really, bro. I mean, think about it. Mike Francesa's been in here. How many people hate Mike Francesa? Do you think Mike Francesa cares? Mike Francesa's number one. We want to be number one.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, it would be great. He says, I lost a fantasy bet. Oh, to change a picture of McAdoosh. Any free agents you guys like for next year? Bunch. If they make free agents.
Yeah, I mean, we say the wide receivers all the time, but Allen Robinson for me is one. Probably Kenny Golladay two. I brought up Corey Davis. I think he's a good option from the Titans. Those are the three receivers I'd be looking at. Edge rushers, we could go down the whole list, but we have to see who's franchise tag. But there's a ton of them. Yannick's being one of them. There's so many. I mean, there's a laundry list.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think Allen Robinson and Golladay would be the two front runners.
One interesting name that
cost as much, I don't think.
He won't cost as much. And one interesting name, I think it was in my stream yesterday. I forgot who gave me the suggestion. He's going to be a cheap alternative wide receiver, but he's kind of on a team. He's tall, and he's kind of on a team where they have a ton of good receivers. Josh Reynolds from the Rams is going to be a free agent. He's an interesting one. They don't have any cap space, so he's probably going to hit the open market. He might be a guy that you could get on a cost-effective deal. He's got 515 yards receiving this year. He's tall, and he may want to come here to get more of an opportunity. So there's another name.
Giants fan 26 is Will Fuller. I know Fuller's a free agent. I know he got busted for PEDs. He's just the rest of the season. I love Will Fuller. I'm a big Will Fuller fan, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think Will Fuller would be good here. I think he works very well with Deshaun Watson. I think
he gets hurt so much too.
Yes, he hasn't been hurt in a while. He hasn't been hurt in a while though. It was in the beginning of his career. He would have. Yeah. He's been pretty healthy the last couple of years, but yeah, he's had injury problems in the past. But I just think he and Deshaun Watson work very well together. I don't know if Will Fuller would be good here. I'm a big Will Fuller fan. I love that speed. Obviously, he's a game breaker. There's no doubt about that. But I just think he and Deshaun Watson have that. I think Deshaun Watson makes him a lot better. I don't think that he'd be as good here. That's just my opinion.
Will Fuller's always been dynamite with Watson. I remember looking at the numbers, like when Watson played early on in his career, like him and Fuller were like ridiculous, like the best pairing in football. It's just that Fuller always got hurt early on.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I had Will Fuller on my fantasy team and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's rookie year. And I remember when Fuller started the year hurt, Watson was a little shaky. Once Fuller got back, oh my God, Deshaun Watson was killing it. Then Fuller ended up breaking his leg or something happened. He was out of the year, and then Deshaun Watson was decent, but not like that. Yeah. Will Fuller's always been the guy. Even though Hopkins was huge, Will Fuller was always that guy.
Big play guy.
Yeah. I like him, though. I don't know if I would bring Fuller in here, though. We need a legit – I don't think Fuller's a legit number one. And I think we need a legit number. If we're going to pay a receiver, it has to be a legit number one. Allen
Robinson. That's my guy. I mean –
I'm wrong with that. I mean, he succeeds at those quarterbacks throwing to him. Because I don't think either one of them are better than Daniel Jones. I'm going to be honest with you. At any juncture, I think Jones is better than Trubisky and Foles.
And he was with Bortles too, wasn't he?
Yes.
I mean, and he put up numbers with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good receiver.
Dan Flynn says, Baddog, what would you do if you saw Daniel Jones hooking up with your girl? I've been with my wife for 20 years. If she wanted to hook up with him, as long as he gave me some money, I don't care. Good for him.
Autograph my football.
Right. Yeah, whatever. I mean, give me 10%. Whatever. I don't think he'd go with my girl since she's, older than he is, but you never know.
Season tickets, maybe you get out of it.
Yeah, season tickets, and I would honestly tell her, listen, if he doesn't, kick him right in the balls, and but whatever. Yeah. Al Robinson's way better than Count. Yeah, I like Robinson better. Drip Giants, definitely for sure. What's this BS about Bradbury? If he tests negative on Monday, he can play next week. Bradbury didn't even test positive. So stupid. It's contact tracing. We need better, more accurate testing, says Meg.
Yeah, it was the same thing happened to our punter, Dixon. And they didn't have it, but they were the close contact list. But it was luckily for the Giants, it was during the bye week, so they were able to play. That's just the rule in the NFL with the testing and everything else. I think it's because, and it's the same reason why I waited a while to get tested after I went to my brother's wedding. I think it takes like 5 days, they say, until you're supposed to get tested when you feel like you may have conducted the virus because it may not show up on the test. So I think it's the same thing. I think Bradbury probably was in maybe close contact with Garrett or somebody on the team that may have it, or maybe somebody from outside the New York Giants facility. And because of that, that's why they make him sit out 5 days.
Yeah. Omar Lopez, what do you think about the Yankees this year? They got to sign DJ LeMahieu, man. And they need a pitcher. And they need a man, and they need to dump Sanchez, although Sanchez is coming back. I honestly don't know what to think of the Yankees.
You think they're going to bring him? You think they're going to bring him back, DJ?
They have to. They already said that's like their number one priority. I don't know how far. I think they're $25 million away. I think it's like 1 year. Just give him 4 years, $100 million. The Yankees are bringing him back. There's no way they can't. They have got to bring him back. I don't think there's any question. They got to bring him back. Big Drip says Chicago pizza is better than New York City pizza. Yeah, you're drunk.
I've had both. I like Chicago pizza, but it's not even close. New York pizza is much better than Chicago pizza.
It's not close.
Yeah,
they're not even.
I like Chicago pizza. It's definitely something different. But the thing with Chicago pizza, it's so filling. Like it's almost like a dessert. Like it's I don't know. It's like I got to go with the New York pizza. Definitely the thinner crust. You go with New York.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Thin crust pizza. It ain't nothing like a New York pie. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I think a Chicago style hot dog though. Those are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It says, who's my least favorite Yankee? Jared, you've been in enough of my streams. You know the answer to that one. We need a non-offensive touchdown in order to win this game, says Patrick Gardner. I agree.
Yeah, well, whether it be a kick return, punt return, a pick six, I agree. We need some, maybe not a touchdown, but bring it back to the 5. Give yourself great field. Yes, we need some turnovers.
Short field.
Maybe some trick plays. We said it a couple of weeks ago. We didn't do it against Seattle. Maybe it's this week. Giants got to pull out all the stops. I mean, the playoffs are on the line this week. You got to pull out all the tricks out of the bag to try to get this W.
We got to play a perfect game. We can't have mistakes. We can't be fumbling. We can't be fair catching at the 5-yard line. We can't be allowing 30-yard punt returns and 40-yard kickoff returns. And we can't have that stuff. We can't be turning the ball over. I mean, the Giants got to run the ball, and they got to run. That's how they're going to win. If they're going to win, that's how they're going to do it. The game plan against Seattle has got to be the same game plan. It's got to be the same thing. I don't think there's any question about that. So they got to execute. There's no reason to think we can't win. I don't care. Our defensive front stops to run anybody in the league.
Yeah.
We can win this game. We're not going to score 34 points, but if we score 24, that's enough. The defense plays well, in my opinion.
I saw somebody ask me, I think he asked a couple of times, Jason, am I going live tomorrow? I haven't decided, Jason. I'm either going to go live tomorrow night or I'm going to go live for the Washington game. So I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do one or the other. I'm not going to do both. So because the Giants are playing at night. So I haven't decided yet. We'll see tomorrow.
All right. Dire Giants fan, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Going into this game, the lack of our secondary scares me. I have no doubt we'll play well against the Browns. D-line needs to play mistake-free the entire game. A pick six needs to happen. Yeah,
we need turnovers.
We do.
+2. That's my number. Got to be +2 in the turnover battle if we have any chance to win this game.
We need pressure. We have to hit Baker. We have to. I mean, the Giants are not. I don't know if they are anymore going into the game against Arizona, they were number one in quarterback knockdowns. I'm not saying Patrick Graham did a bad job, but I was actually disappointed in the game plan against Kyler Murray. I felt like you needed to blitz him more than they did. And the couple of times they blitzed him, they got there. Now, he did make the play against the blitz, throw the touchdown to the tight end. There's another guy, as somebody said on my post-game video, like, oh, so Kyler Murray's a winner, but Daniel Jones didn't know 7-7 was a winner. I'm like, thinking to myself, that's not what I said. I said that's a winning play. I said a winning quarterback makes that play, 3 men in his face, and he's able to throw a touchdown. That's a winning play. I'm not saying Kyler Murray's a winning quarterback yet, but they've improved a lot in his second year. And, yeah, that's a play a winning quarterback makes. That's a tough play.
The thing I'll say about Kyler Murray is this. This is what I'll say about Kyler Murray.
A little squirt?
Every time, he is a little squirt. Every time I watch the guy play, I say to myself, this guy makes stupid decisions at certain points in the games. But what I will say about him is he finds ways to win football games. And not a lot of quarterbacks do that. And that we said that about Eli Manning. Kyler Murray, even if he plays a bad game at the end, I'm not saying he always does, but he finds ways to win football games. I will give him credit for that, and a big part of it is that chunk plays. He's capable of making big chunk plays, and some of that may have to do with the talent on him on his offense, but obviously his legs have a lot to do with it. But that's one thing I'll say about Murray. He finds ways to win football games, even when he's not playing well.
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's what you want out of your quarterback. A guy that can take you, to the promised land. That's what you want. Even if the quarterback game and he has a chance to win at the end, and he does. That's what you need. Yeah. Again, Kyler's only in his second year too. Everybody keeps saying, "Well, Daniel Jones only second." Well, Kyler's only in his second year. So Kyler's been in the league 4 years, but
Kyler's gonna be good. Kyler's gonna be good. I have no doubt about it.
He's definitely gonna be. He's very exciting. He's quicker than a hiccup too. That's what I'm saying. The Giants had a hard time. Our linebackers can catch Baker Mayfield if he rolls out. They weren't catching.
Oh yeah,
catch Kyler Murray. Actually, they were talking about how they enjoyed watching Dexter Lawrence chase Kyler Murray around. His teammates were getting a kick out of watching him chase Kyler Murray. I mean, it had to be, like I said, it's like a big old bear, trying to catch a gazelle.
It was like an elephant trying to catch a mouse. But the thing that really I was disappointed in the defense, the one area, and I'm not ragging on the defense. They did as good as they could. The offense didn't help Matt at all. And the field position, they were starting midfield the entire game. But our defensive line, and it's not even about containing Murray. I get it. He's going to get his yards. He's a threat in the run game. He's, we got no push at all throughout that entire game. Nope. Murray had 4 or 5 seconds of the pocket almost every play, at least through like the first 3 quarters. So that was a big negative for me in that game. The defensive line didn't show up.
I agree. And Dylan Peterson says Kyler's already a top 10 quarterback. I'd put him there. I mean, look, I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. I've been since day one, and I'm rooting for him. And I picked the Arizona as my deep sleeper in the NFC because I think that adding DeAndre Hopkins and having Kyler Murray for another year, and I actually thought they did pretty good in the draft. Simmons has been a disappointment, and you guys still we're having a pretty good year. So I'd
have to think about that. But if he's not top 10, he's right there.
Yeah.
So I'd agree. He's definitely an above average quarterback. I'll say that. Yeah, I'll agree there.
Jake G says Ingram and Caden are questionable, but I think they're going to play.
I think they'll play. I'd be surprised if they don't play. I think they'll play.
But that's interesting though, Chris. I thought Caden Smith would be a much bigger part of the offense this year. I'm really surprised he hasn't been.
Yeah, we haven't. We've barely seen him at all. They've used him a lot in the fullback role, the H-back role. They haven't thrown to him much. He's got like 100 yards receiving. I am a little bit surprised by that. I agree with you on that. I thought we'd see him a little bit more in the passing game.
I did too, because the last 4 games of the year when Ingram was hurt, it looked like, what did Smith have? Like 28 receptions in the last 4 games or something crazy? And I don't know. Yeah. I was excited. I thought that allowed us to trade Evan Ingram. And I guess Jason Garrett just doesn't use him. I don't know. I don't know how much of that is Jason Garrett. I don't know how much of that's Caden Smith. I don't know how much of that's Daniel Jones. I thought Caden Smith would be a bigger part of the offense. I really did going into this year. Abe, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Brilly. Ryan at cornerback. McKinney at safety. Kitchens audition offensive coordinator next year. This is an audition.
Yeah, Abe, I said it earlier. If they're going to fire Garrett, or if Garrett's gonna get another job, if obviously if they're hiring in-house, Kitchens makes the most sense. He's been a former offensive coordinator with the Browns. So yeah, and you're seeing it this week. He could have given it to Shaplinski. He didn't. He gave it to Kitchens. So I would think if we're gonna hire somebody in-house for that job, if we move on from Garrett, it would be Kitchens.
Yeah, like I said, I forgot all about the fact he'd be calling the plays on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he dials up with Jason Garrett's playbook. I mean,
Now, the thing I'll say, though, Baddog, about that, I'm surprised. And maybe there's obviously a delay when you watch it from home, but I would think they'd still be able to make it so Garrett could call the plays from home. But maybe I'm wrong. Give him a live feed. I don't know. But maybe they can't do that.
Maybe they could. I mean, Jason Garrett could easily call, like, they used to say Bill Walsh, and I'm sure it wasn't just Bill Walsh, but they used to say the first 15 plays were scripted. Like the first 15 plays were always. So maybe Garrett does do that. Maybe Garrett sends
I'm sure that Garrett is involved in the game plan, even though he's not going to be there. I'm sure he's talking to Kitchens, he's talking to Judge, and I'm sure he's involved in the game plan.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what happened there. I don't think Lloyd is supposed to be hidden. Let me unhide him.
Woompeg says they do it in the booth. Yeah, they do it in the booth, but he can't be in the booth, obviously, because of the virus. I saw Big Drip ask this a bunch of times, and I'm gonna give him your answer that we both always give. Big Drip asked Baddog, do you think Eli Manning's overrated? How can he be overrated when everybody says he sucks?
Yeah, that was always my answer to that. Everybody always says Eli Manning sucks. So how can a guy that sucks be overrated?
He's underrated.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Nobody ever gives him credit. Overrated means people give him credit when he's no good. Nobody ever gives Eli Manning credit for anything. They actually look at reasons to bash him. So I don't know how the hell he can be overrated. I don't know who overrates him. I've never heard anybody talk nice about him outside of the Giants fan base. It's rare. There's some guys respected, but it's very rare that you hear anybody go, "Yo, Eli was the man," outside of the Giants.
You have people, younger people, granted, they didn't get to see Eli. You have people in this fan base that think Daniel Jones is just as good as Eli Manning. I still hear it.
Well, he said that no. Deion Jones is not close to Eli. Not yet. May never be.
Oh, David I did not know that. Okay, so that's okay. That makes complete sense, Davey. I did not know that. He says can't call plays from home. He has access to too many electronic options. It's against league rules. So there you go. Good call, David. Yeah. But like I said, I'm sure Garrett was heavily involved in this week's game plan. I'm sure, like Baddog said, they went over plays that they want to use in situations. But it's not the same thing when you're actually calling the plays. Situational play calling will definitely fall in the lap of Freddie Kitchens.
James O'Brien, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly, what are your thoughts on having Coughlin, Mayo, Cam Brown, Crowder, and Martinez taking heads off? I still wonder why we gave up Golden for a 6th pick.
I don't wonder. I mean, at that point, we were like 1-6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we didn't think we'd even be in a divisional race, and we're not winning a Super Bowl this year. You get a draft pick when you can get it.
That, and I think, Jay, I think you answered it with the players you just named. I think with Coughlin, Cam Brown, and Crowder, and Blake Martinez, and don't forget Kyler Fackrell, I think he was expendable. I don't think that the Giants had a need for him here. He didn't fit Patrick Graham's system. Giants brought him back because he was like $5 million, and nobody else picked him up, and he was just kind of here. I think we were lucky to get anything for him.
We weren't playing him much. He was playing 30% of the snaps. And yeah, I mean, that was an underrated move by Gettleman. He basically got us a free 6th-round pick because we weren't going to bring Golden back. And then that provision got us a free 6th-round pick. I think the Giants will probably always said to themselves going into the year, knowing that Golden didn't fit our scheme and knowing that he wasn't part of a future, we were going to try to trade him to get something in next year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the fact that he could have went to another team and we wouldn't have got anything for him, and we ended up with a 6th-round pick. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's more than we would have got if they just let him walk in free agency. So I don't know. We'll go for like another 5 minutes, and then we will call it an evening. But again, really appreciate you guys being here. Still 476 in the house. So if you haven't do me a favor, smash the thumbs up. That does help out the stream. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe, ring the bell. More importantly, go into the description and click on the link to the Tainah Talkin Sports. Sub him up as well. Be over there on Sunday night. Colbert could be. We were still not eliminated mathematically.
It's the biggest game of the year. It's the biggest game of the year.
It's the biggest game of the year. So hope you guys will tune in for that. And it should be a hell of a game. Even with our backup guys, we've had our backs against the wall before. And we'll see. We're going to come out fighting. I don't think there's any doubt about that. This team's going to come out. They're going to fight. And they learned a lesson. We'll see how what they did in Arizona. We'll see how the coaching staff changes things around. But I think a little bit of humility served this young team well. I really do. You need it.
Listen, we've been punching them out a couple of times this year. It's been losing efforts when we came back and forth against really good teams, but we put forth really good efforts against both the Rams after we got punched after the 49er game and against the Bucs after we surrendered an 11-point lead against the Eagles. So I think the Giants are going to put forth a good effort. With the guys that are out, it may not be enough. We're playing a really good Browns team. They're hot. I'm picking the Browns, but I do think the Giants are going to put forth a good effort. I think that they're going to stay in this game. I don't expect to see silly special teams play, and I don't think that we'll have stupid turnovers. I'm not saying we're not going to turn over at all, but I don't expect us to play a sloppy game. I think we're going to come forth with a good effort, and I think the Giants will keep this game competitive.
I think so too. Arian saying Baddog play quarter. Man, I can't throw anymore. Man, I'm old. My stuff don't work. My shoulder ain't working anymore, man. I throw a couple balls, my shoulder gonna fall off. I can lift weights. That's about it, man. Throwing a football, throwing a baseball, man, that's not happening. And even when I was in my prime, I can't throw no damn football. I was not a quarterback. I was a cornerback. Last Jedi was something late. Always good to see Last Jedi in the house.
What's up, Jedi?
Well, always good to see her. Who's better, Sam or Daniel? Well, Daniel Jones better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold stinks. I've had to say that for better part of his entire career. He stinks.
And to answer Jedi's question, she said, "Do you think the Saints could beat the Chiefs? We've got Breeze back." I don't know where the game is being played, but if there's one team in the NFC that could beat the Chiefs, I think it is the Saints.
That's why.
I think they have maybe the best 53-man roster in football, but I still think the Chiefs will beat you. I think the Chiefs are the better team. I don't think you keep up with Mahomes, but I respect the Saints. They were my Super Bowl pick to start the year out of the NFC. I had Chiefs Saints. I'm picking the Chiefs to win, and I'm still sticking with that Super Bowl prediction. I think you're getting a preview of this year's Super Bowl.
Yep, I'd say the same thing. I had the Ravens there at the beginning of the year. I would have to go Chiefs and Saints now. I see our boy from Italy's in the house. What's going on, Tuto? Always good to see a paisano in the chat. What's going on? Timothy, man, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly. Thanks for this, fellas. You do great work. We appreciate it.
I guess he ran for president in 2016.
I can't see what that says. It says something for America.
Anything for America. Underwood 2016, anything for America.
I like it.
I guess he ran for president in 2016. We're talking to a presidential candidate.
That's very nice. Very nice. Well, I mean, Donald's been here a number of times. We haven't seen Donald in a while, but Trump here a few times. Big Drip says, Ben, you actually think Baker's good? I think Baker's a good quarterback, yeah. I don't know why he's not. Why he wouldn't be. I don't think he's as good as I thought he'd be yet, but he's not bad. I mean, there's a lot worse quarterbacks in the league than Baker Mayfield. That's for sure.
I'm starting to believe in Baker myself. I think he's in a great situation. That definitely helps him, kind of like Dak with the Cowboys. But I'm starting to believe in Baker in terms of being a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, I'm starting to believe in Baker.
Yeah. Derek Giants fan, man, thank you, brother. Brilly says, do we really think there's a home game with no fans?
I think, especially when okay, here's where I think it's still an advantage. In this game, I don't think it's much of an advantage. But when there's like a lot of travel, like east to west coast, I think that, or west to east coast, I think that is. And I think when you play a warm weather team and you force them to come into a cold weathered environment, I think that plays a factor as well. Unfortunately for the Giants, I don't think either one of those plays much of a factor in this game. Cleveland's a cold place. It's not that far of a travel. So in this game, I'd say no. Last week, I thought it would have played a factor, but it didn't.
Yeah, Arizona always does really well come up here.
Yeah.
Both years. I mean, they killed us. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. They just match up all with us, I guess. I'm not sure. I mean, things are hard to explain. I mean, we beat Washington every damn time we play them. And it's not like Washington's got a better record than us this year. And last year, I mean, we pretty much had the same record. I mean, neither one of us were good, but we always beat them. I guess it's just matchups. I really don't know. It's very strange how that happens. Shaw B, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, my man. Brilly calling tonight, guys. Thanks, to keep up the great content. See you Sunday. Going to watch the 05 Eli Breeze 13 touchdown duel. I think he meant 15.
15, yeah.
Yep. Eli Breeze 13 touchdown duel. Go to sleep because I'm that single. No, it's not weird at all. Shaw, I'm going to be honest with you. When I go to sleep at night, I put on a couple of – I have playlists. I have old Giants games, like from the 80s and early 90s. I think I do have some with Eli, but a lot of them are the 80s and 90s. A lot of them are 86 and 1990, some 88 games. I also will listen to the Americas games because there's a playlist, just on YouTube of all the Americas games. I'll listen to them, or I'll listen to the Super Bowl highlights, because there's a playlist on that too. So I don't think that's weird at all. That they actually do help me sleep. If I could ever find radio broadcasts, those are always my favorite because I always felt like the radio broadcast is very relaxing. And that's kind of what I think about when I lay down and just listen to the audio. So definitely not weird. I mean, I'm not saying
that was a great game, Shaw. Well, not a lot of defense, but Eli in that game, one of his touchdowns is one of the greatest throws Eli ever made in that game, where I think he kind of threw against his body at like the 20-yard line in the red zone. I can't remember exactly how it panned out, but I remember it was a ridiculous play. But yeah, Eli in that game was money. Threw 6 touchdowns, and they somehow still lost the football game. But
350 touchdowns, no interceptions, and we lose 49. And in that game, we actually did have a defensive touchdown, which put us up by, I think we're up 49-38 late in that game because we had the touchdown. 2015 sucked because we lost so many close games at the end. We lost on a 54-2 New England. Remember, Landon Collins dropped the interception that would have ended the game against New England. Should have beat them. And nobody really had a good year in 2015 in this division either. I think Washington won it with a 9-7 record. So we lost so many close ones that we could have won. The offense looked so good. We went out and spent all that money on offense. We thought for sure we were going to be really good. We were 11-5, but the offense never did anything. Really strange.
Yeah, we could never get on the same timeline. But that was everybody forgets that. I think Eli that year was second in touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken. I think he threw 35 touchdowns that year. I think he was second in the league that year. So everybody forgets that Eli. Everybody says he was old and decrepit. He was pretty good that year. Defense just was horrible.
Yeah, 2016, the offensive line really suck.
Yeah, we couldn't run.
Yeah. Rashad Jennings wasn't getting it done, and then they did. They drafted Wayne Gallman. They never had a running game. They just didn't, and it started to wear on him. I always love when people say, "Oh, Eli just dove on the ground." Well, listen, when you've been getting hit, I always laugh when people are like, "Oh, he dove on the ground. He's a bitch." Well, you stand back there and just stand up and go, "Oh, I got a 360-pound dude running at me full force. Here, go ahead, hit me." Just run into me. I'm not going to go down. I'm going to stand there and crack me.
That's why Eli Manning didn't get hurt. I mean, he knew how to take hits. That's an art. That's a skill. He knew how to take hits and not get hurt. So I credit him for that. I mean, obviously there were times he checked it down earlier than we would like, and you got sick of seeing that. But I think we're seeing reasoning for that. Yep. The offensive line couldn't block. They couldn't get the ball down the field. And now at times everybody's calling for Jones to check it down because he takes too many shots because the routes don't have enough time to develop. So it is what it is. I always said that I think people were going to realize how much they missed Eli when he left. I think some fans are starting to realize that. Yeah. But,
Not going to find a bunch of Elis in the draft. It just doesn't always work. Wait, listen, people mentioned. Somebody mentioned it earlier. We had Kent Graham. We had Danny Cannell. We had Dave Brown. We had Kerry. Not that Kerry Collins is awful for us, but it's very hard to have a franchise quarterback every time one retires. We're not the Packers. They got lucky to go from Favre to Rodgers, not the Colts, or where they went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. That doesn't always happen that way. I mean, Los Angeles is going to be able to do it. Looks like from Rivers to Herbert.
Yeah.
You don't know what Pittsburgh's going to get. It's not that easy. Same. Look at the Patriots. I mean, they went from Tom Brady to Cam Newton. That's not working out either. So it's hard.
I mean, you look around the league, how many teams could even say in their existence that they've actually had a legitimate franchise quarterback? And when I say that, I mean 10, 15 years of stability, knowing he's going to suit up every Sunday. Not a lot of teams.
Nope.
I mean, even the Jets haven't done it. Name it. Yeah, but name it wasn't, it was 5 years, maybe 6 years where he was good. The Jets are one. There's a number of teams you could point. Washington's never had a long-term franchise quarterback.
Nope.
Maybe Theismann, but how long was Theismann the quarterback? Not
Theismann was a rookie in 75. I don't know when he started. I don't think he started till he started 75. So maybe 10 years.
All right, maybe. Yeah, but I mean, there's so many teams that have
McNabb, Philadelphia.
Yeah, they had McNabb.
Like Minnesota, Fran Tarkenton. But
You're going way back.
Who they've had since. It wasn't Rich Gannon. So it is. It's tough. It's not
the Bear. How about the Bears?
Bears have never had one.
Never had one.
The Bears have never had one.
Yeah. So
they've never had one. The Browns.
Yeah, Browns never had
one. Otto Graham. I mean, you're going back into the 40s, 50s with Otto Graham.
Bernie Kosar, I guess, but
I guess Kosar. You could say it.
He was okay. He was good, but I mean, yeah, and it's not as easy as people think to just flip the script and have a franchise quarterback like that.
But guys, we're gonna get out of here. Again, I just want to say we had a really good crowd tonight. It was between 500 and 600 people most of the night. We still have over 430 in here. So, again, guys and girls, just want to thank you for all the support you guys, girls, have shown our channel. Over the years, especially this year. I say it every week. I've always said, wait till we're good. Yeah, we're not good yet. We are getting better, and we're still playing meaningful games in December. So this year has been a lot of fun. It's certainly been emotionally draining at times. There's no doubt we were riding high in the game against Arizona. I definitely, I'm not going to lie, that was a gut punch. That one hurt because we didn't compete and we just got killed. So I know the steam out of a lot of us, but don't give up. I mean, Washington's got a very tough game. They could easily lose this week, and if they lose, we're going into Sunday night with a chance to take first place back. So we got to come out on Sunday night. You're all going to be there on the Up Tainah channel, and we're going to watch the Giants try to do the impossible one more time. Tudo, thank you for the super chat. Really says we should be patient and faithful to improve on what we have, Paisanos. Problem is, we've been patient a long time.
Tudo, I mean, I kind of agree. We don't have much of a choice but to be patient. I think we're going to have to give it one more year and see what we got, at the quarterback position and everything else. And at that point, that's when I think we start to see change if there's not dramatic improvement. But I'm with you. I think 2021 we're going to try to see this rebuild through and hope that the team takes that monumental leap that I think we're all hoping happens in 2021. And a lot of that's going to be dependent on Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley's health and the growth of this line and the defense. And we're going to see. I'm excited for this week, obviously, but even more so probably 2021. It's a year where I've been circling on my calendar for a while where I think we're going to be real contenders, but that's going to be dependent on Jones. Jones is going to have to grow next year, no doubt about it. But, yeah, man, Baddog. I mean, I always love doing this. Thank you to everybody for continuing to support both of our channels. Thank you guys for checking out the show. I may or may not be live tomorrow night. I haven't decided yet. I'm probably definitely going to do the Washington game. We'll see. And then, of course, we're going to be live for the Giant game. So that should be a lot of fun. You coming over to the channel for that. And hopefully, like Baddog said, going into that game, we have an opportunity to take first place. And on paper, we should. Washington starting Dwayne Haskins. Haskins hasn't won very many games. They're going up against a good team in Seattle. So if Seattle does their job, we'll have an opportunity to win and take first place. And that's all you can ask for right now if you're a New York Giant fan. So Colt McCoy's the quarterback. Got to do what we did against Seattle. Run the football, run it effectively. And we'll see if we come out. Yeah, see if we come out with a W. But thank you to everybody for all the support you guys show us. Still at over 500 people in here, even when New York Giants coming up a very disappointing week, and a lot of Giants fans have given up hope. So thank you guys for watching the show, and thank you guys for continuing to support us.
Absolutely. You guys and girls are the best. Say it every week. We got the best chat on YouTube. There is no doubt about that. And, hey, we're going to continue to get better, and I'm telling you, by this time next year, we're going to be in first place without a doubt. We're going to be in first place convincingly. We're going to have a winning record. And you guys are all going to be there. You're going to be witnesses. We're going to get in the playoffs, man. And that's going to be really fun. So for the entertainment, Diggity Dizzle, enjoy the rest of your Friday night and your Saturday if I don't see you. Till next time, we are gone. Peace.